Hey guys, and welcome back to the round of 16 of the Queensland High School League of Legends Championship. My name is Mitch, Uri plays Anderson. Of course, I'm joined by ever-present co-caster Max von Newman. How are things today, Max?
Yeah, things are going very well for myself. This may seem like a bit of a repeat for those of you at home. We do apologize for those audio issues. That aside, though, yeah, things are looking really good. I'm excited because we're now in our Sweet 16 round. After today, only 8 teams will remain, so we have to cut off half of the pool, or rather, a quarter? Because 4 matches have been played. We'll get into that later. But a banger of one today, Craigslea 2 taking on Northside.
Yeah, a very interesting match we have for today for you guys. Northside and Craigslea, very different sides coming into this. One of the much stronger on paper, but the other one seems to be the higher seed, right, when you come into the game. So it's going to be something we think we might get a full 3 games. Of course, today's a best of 3. So it's not just one game. We'll be playing multiple games throughout the day. So be hearing mine and Max's voice for a longer period today, which is both a good and a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I like to think it's a good thing. I hope people enjoy our voice and our commentary because you're going to be getting a lot of it over these next couple streams. That said, I liked how you brought up, these 2 teams and how it might be a bit of an upset. On paper, I do like Northside a lot. Craigslea, though, they are the favorite in this only because they did get that higher 4th seed. Yeah. As a result, they were able to pick priorities. So for our game 1, we will be seeing them on the red side and Northside on the blue side. Yeah. This is relevant because I'm sure all of you at home have noticed we got a little surprise here for you all.
The whiteboard behind us?
Yeah, there's a little whiteboard behind us because we're going to have ourselves a bit of a mock draft today as if, each of us were coaches.
Exactly. So, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. And of course, we did Max slightly later. We'll be looking at some past results since half the quarterfinal games have already been played. They were played last week due to some schools not being able to make it on this particular date. I believe the results of those games will be popping up on screen shortly. But yeah, so some interesting results from those last games, and these teams I'm sure will be eagerly awaiting to see as it cuts me off here. So we have Somerset College Esports and Craigslea 1. It was a fantastic 3-game series in which Somerset took out 2-1 there. We had SPS Legacy versus Ormondson College, which was a 2-0 to SPS Legacy. We have Maroochydore State High School and TSS Pandas, which ended in a 2-0 to Maroochydore. And in the last game there, you see in the bottom, Canterbury College and Callum Vale Rush Hour. That was also a 2-0 series to Callum Vale. So the only school that went to a 3-game series was Somerset versus Craigslea. So hopefully the other Craigslea school can get a 3-game series for us here today.
Yeah, hopefully for sure. And I mean, SPS Legacy, they're watching this one because as you can see on that chart, it is the winner of this match who will be going on to face SPS Legacy. That said, we're about 10 minutes until game time, so I think it's about time we get to this whiteboard and have ourselves a mock draft. Now, for this little exercise, we should be switching sides,
We should be switching sides, this is correct.
I am going to be your acting head coach for Craigslea 2. Mitch over here will be Mr. Northside.
That's correct.
I'm going to take the red pen because I'm going to be on the red side. You can have black.
Right.
Oh, no, there's blue.
I thought we just, no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll choose. Use the big ones.
Black. Right. So, yeah, basically, as you can see, Craigslea are on the red side, Northside on the blue side. So, I think we should do our first 3 bands straight up, right?
Yeah, let's just go with our bands. You're blue side. You do get the band first.
My first 3 bands will be, if I'm on the blue side, probably I'll ban the Karma, played by the support there for
Lemester.
Yeah.
One of KillerDownUnder's picks, as well as the fact that I do know SirZelli is a fan of the Galio. Yeah. I do not want to deal with the J4 Galio combination, not in this game. And for my last band, this was a tough one, but I opted to go for the Yasuo. This is because, again, knowing the champ pool that I have on my team, I don't feel any of them has champions that can handle a fed Yasuo.
Yeah, I agree. I think Yasuo, especially for, obviously being a 1-trick there in the mid lane, very strong champion, especially in the meta right now. So being taken off, I think my first pick, I'll be picking the Caitlyn away.
Okay.
Yeah. Simply just because I think, one, the AD carry for Northside, his AD carry pool isn't that big. He kind of looks like he can play like Caitlyn and a couple other champions really well. And I think that Caitlyn's one of the biggest things that the AD carry for Craigslea plays really well. So I think getting that off him is quite good. It gives you priority in the bot lane, allows you to play a safe lane while you try to focus towards the top side / mid comp.
All right. In response to that, I'm going to straight up take big ol' Naughty to haughty. So Nautilus, I'm going to take right well. He is one of the strongest supports at the moment. He is in Lemester's wheelhouse. I love the initiation. I think it's very clear-cut how this champion is played.
Yeah.
And in tournaments like this, having strong initiation is critical. For my next pick, Aurelia.
Aurelia?
It's a bit of a flex. Okay. Can go mid, can go top. One of the strongest picks at the moment. Able to dive back lines, able to win solo lanes. I think it's good.
I mean, I think those are two good picks. Obviously Nautilus as well, but that does leave me open, me able to pick up the Morgana here, which I'm very happy about. Morgana is the most played for the support for Northside. Also, very strong into Nautilus. Obviously, the Black Shield instantly negates the ultimate. Also quite strong into melee champions like Aurelia in team fights. The big tornado as well. And I think Caitlyn Morg is one of the strongest lanes in the game. My next pick though is very difficult because I can either go for a couple of different things here, and I think.
Ooh, consulting the notebook.
I think I'll go for a. I think I'll go for a Xin Zhao pick here.
Xin?
It's called.
Right. You got to lock it in.
I think Xin Zhao here is what I'll go for in the jungle.
Okay.
As a strong jungle, obviously, the jungle for Northside is a Plat 3 player. Quite good there in the jungle, and I think Xin Zhao's a nice champion you can use to establish priority and take over the game in a mid-jungle duo.
Alrighty, so that leaves me for my next pick. And I'm going to also go to the jungle for my one. And this, again, kind of seems odd into a Morgana, but I'm also playing a bit to what my jungler's, comfortable and confident on.
I banned a movement.
Oh, yeah, you did ban a movement.
Never mind, so you can't
ban a movement. We're not doing that. My apologies. Vi. Vi is what we were going for. My brain just farted right there. So this is, big brains. Vi is who we're going to go for. I like, again, that single target lockdown. I like the initiation. And we're getting a real sort of dive comp being put together for good old Craigslea too.
Nice. So if we move to the second phase of bans then, right? What you're looking to is obviously a dive comp. So you want to either ban out like long range carries in the mid-top lane, or you just want to find out something that enables dive. You don't know where the Aurelia is going, right? I'm assuming it's going mid, just because ZaHo is a really quite strong mechanical player, and I don't know if the top laner for, what's his name? Craigslea is able to actually play Aurelia that strong. So I'd assume, right now I'd be looking at Aurelia goes mid, because the Aurelia Vi is a really strong mid-jungle duo, and it's really good because into the Xin, it means the Xin's not as strong there, and it means you have to play around a different lane. So I think I'd ban out... Probably first and foremost, I'll probably ban out the Xerath. So he plays a fair bit of Xerath in the mid lane there.
All right.
A little bit hard to see. No, rather bigger. Oh. And then here, getting down nice and low. Oh.
Working out your quads and your, is it the quads or what? The thighs? Your leg muscles?
I don't know, just the legs basically in general, yeah. So get Xerath banned off there. I don't know, I'll let you ban next.
Yep, all right, I will go ahead with my next ban. And as you've noticed already, I'm kind of building a bit of that dive. Unfortunately, I had to give that Morgana up, but I'm looking at the top lane and the ThelilKitten and his champ pool, and there's one up there that is nearly impossible to dive and take down, and that is the Vlad.
Yeah, I can see that there.
Do not want to deal with a Vlad. I am banning that away. No, thank you.
I think then the next thing I have to take off the board, for ZaHo or for... No, I'm trying to blank. I'm blanking at the top laner's pool, so I don't know what to ban actually. I forgot to prepare this.
This is why preparation is important if you are a coach.
Yes.
You are running out of time.
I forgot to look at my...
Gotta lock something in.
I think get rid of Lux as well.
Yeah.
Just in case that Aurelia gets flexed. I'm not too worried about your top laner's pool, because I know that the top laner for Northside is very flexible. So I think getting rid of the Lux Xerath means that whatever I pick in the mid lane is pretty safe, and it doesn't really counter what I'm trying to do.
So right now, I'm looking at that Xin pick, and I'm saying, okay, that's definitely jungle. We're good. So we don't need to ban this other one that I'm looking at. I'm going to go ahead and actually focus on a possible mid-top flex pick that still is available for you, that I believe both your mid and top do play. Aatrox.
Yeah.
Sorry, but both your mid and top laner do play that very effectively, both creative content and ThelilKitten. I believe creative content's win rate is something like 70% on that Aatrox. Do not want any part of that. We're going to be taking that one away.
It's supposed to be the bands we're going to because it's your pick now, right?
It is my pick,
You're supposed to ban first. Ah, well, doesn't matter.
It's all right. All right, so now I'm in an interesting situation right now because I don't want to give away where Aurelia is going, so I'm going to be looking at the AD carries. I'm seeing Caitlyn Morgana and a lot of kill pressure right there, so even though I do have this Nautilus who probably does want to dive, I'm actually going to opt for the Ezreal.
Yeah.
I think Ezreal will be a bit safer in this situation. Not to mention, the dive is still there. He has that mobility. He actually has a deceptive amount of damage come level 1 power spike.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to be going.
Which means, obviously, I have to lock in both my mid laner and my top laner here. And I think what I've got here is a very nice, I can either go with the Siege comp with the Caitlyn Morgana and go with the Poke comp as well with Kate Morg, and I can also go with a nice split comp as well, because whatever I pick on my mid lane should be able to synergize these picks effectively. So I think I'm going to lock in here both Orianna for my mid laner, simply because it gives you a nice safe lane phase. It's a really nice blind pick, right? Doesn't matter what you're going to pick in. ZaHo is one of those champion players who plays a lot of assassins as well as control mages, and Ori is good into both those kind of styles of champions. And I think as well, the Xin Zhao obviously helps with the dive in with the ball. Morgana and the ball can also buff up the Caitlyn as well, right? And I think in the top laner, I'm going to pick in Nah here for my top laner. Nah is pretty much like his one trick. He's played a lot of games in Nah, and Nah is one of those champions who's really good in competitive if you can play him well, because he enables you to do multiple styles of play, right? Enables multiple win conditions. Split push if you get ahead in your solo lane, and also team fight if you get the mega Nah. Only issue with Nah is Aurelia is pretty good into him in the top side, but then it's a bit much of a skill matchup, and I don't know if the skill there is for the...
Well, I'm going to take you up on that skill matchup. I want Aurelia in the top side. I am okay with the skill matchup right now of Aurelia into Gnar. I don't really want Aurelia into Orianna. I feel like she can play a bit too reactively into that and be able to sort of shut that down before it gets going. That said, I still want something that should be able to outpoke and harass Orianna, plus provide global map presence as well, so a play could be made at any part of the map at any moment. Yeah, making sure it wasn't banned.
No, you can pick your TF, yeah.
Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is going to be for my mid laner. So the mid laner is probably the strongest member of Craigslea 2, so ZaHo. He is very strong on this Twisted Fate as well, and I feel like this is a champion that the team can easily play around. You can have a dive play both top or bot with the TF ultimate, able to dive down there, secure the gold, secure the kills, funnel it into him, become that late game wave clear monster, and really complete this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think both comps have their merits and strengths. Obviously, yours is just a very traditional team fight comp.
With
and
dive.
It has a lot of damage as well, right, through the Aurelia and the Ezreal. It's a little bit single damage source, right? You can only pretty much itemize full armor here, but I also don't really have any tanks, so it's not really a big issue, right?
Yes.
But I think the Kate Morgana Ori combo in the mid lane there is enough disengage to deal with some elements of your composition, right? Because if both Nautilus and Vi single target ultis, so that means you can pretty much get your Morg binding and then stop those, unless you ult two different targets, and even then, it's not really as effective, right? You want to be diving onto one carry, preferably the Caitlyn or the more Ori, and just blowing on instantly. And so I think the other thing that they can definitely do to counter this comp is if you got something, I would maybe TF in the side lane as well. Yeah. But I think TF gets outside lane by the Narc pretty heavily.
It does, but that's what Aurelia is for. Like, really what I like the TF right now, and I do agree, the Orianna provides a lot of stability and is like able to sort of stop a lot of the dive, but TF's ultimate has the ability to rotate faster than Orianna. So what I am hoping for is TF to really sort of apply enough pressure on both the top and the bot lane to get those two lanes ahead, and Orianna unable to react. Then as we get later into the game, almost a 4-1 split push situation. You have Aurelia, pressuring one of those side lanes while everyone else is either sieging mid. If something bad starts to happen, TF should be able to react. If my plan has gone correctly, a lot of gold has been funneled into him, so he should be able to help deal with the Gnar. Like TF Aurelia should handle that. That said, we are actually getting dangerously close to our picks and bans. So at this stage, I think it's time to really, get ourselves game ready. I'm curious to see how accurate we are with where these teams go.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of flexibility, especially in those second phase bans, right? Obviously, it depends on what they pick and what order. I mean, the last thing to say about these two team comps, because they're very realistic comps we could see in the game. I think, especially in the mid lane, right? TF doesn't have the same wave clear as Orianna.
No.
So you won't get priority, which means you can't really use that ultimate as effectively unless Ori takes a bad base. Which I think with two players with this ability, unlikely to happen. As we see jumping straight into the first ban phase, and we see Darius taken off by Northside.
Well, Darius wasn't even a champion we considered. I do know he is strong in the TheVlaxten's champ pool. In fact, I actually put him as, sort of a bit of his main. So I'm not too surprised to see that ban take away. In response, Craigslea 2, they were listening to me. Evelyn banned away first.
Yeah, there we go. Interesting to get Katarina banned as well out, right?
Yeah, it is interesting as well. I mean, One of the best things about ZaHo's champion pool is actually how flexible it is. He can play pretty much any champion in that mid lane. Gnar is in response, and these teams clearly have plans. We are seeing rapid fire. Go, go, go.
Yeah, so obviously the drafts are, kind of similar. Obviously the Gnar's been banned out here for the top laner in LoLQHS. Very similar stuff. Aatrox as well banned out. Obviously a bit of a flex ban as well. So they're looking for first pick here, but I think I like the bans overall. Yasuo is left up though. So I think there's a very nice Yasuo J4 comp here.
Yeah, the Yasuo is insta-locked right now for Northside, so a lot of confidence for creative content. He was almost certainly going to be taking that into the mid lane. Wukong picked up into response.
That's a counter to Yasuo, actually. Yeah. So it could be going mid with ZaHo. Could also be top for the TheVlaxten as well, right? So we don't actually know where that's going yet. And J4 taken away. I don't know about Snap Pulse on J4 though.
It is in his champ pool. It was one of those things. When we were looking at this before.
So I think a really good pick here would be, obviously Morgana strong up enables the Arisen of Die, but I think I'd like to see Karthus picked up for KillerDownUnder because he's been playing a lot of Karthus recently, and he's had some really good games on the Karthus. I don't mind that MF, that's okay. Obviously, you use a Black Shield there with Morgana to kind of stop the CC being dropped on him, but I think a Jarvan and a Wukong have too much backline access to kind of stop that. I think you might get dived in a little bit easier. But it is not with the Yasuo comp. If you land a nice knockup with the Yasuo, means MF can get an ulti on all those knocked up targets. And a Malzahar as well is good into the Yasuo in the mid lane. Ori not so much though.
Ori not as much unless... That tells me Craigslea too is actually looking to build a bit more around the bot lane at this stage when we're seeing that Orianna locked in.
I mean, Ori J4 though, right, as well, board delivery system, really good in the Cataclysm.
Wukong as well.
Yeah, Wukong as well, right, can dive in with his invisibility. And I think Wukong in the top lane, especially with what the ThelilKitten can play up in that matchup, is definitely a little bit weaker. I would love to see Karthus locked into KillerDownUnder because it means they're going to need some damage spread in their comps.
Karma being banned away. I'm surprised Karma wasn't actually prioritized a bit more during our first iteration, but it does appear as if Craigslea too, they are picking to their roles.
Yeah, I don't think there might be some champ pool issues or something like that, right?
Which is a bit unfortunate just because of how strong Karma is at the moment.
Yeah.
Her
Karma's nutty busted. Like if you're going to play anything in solo queue, play Karma right now. She's super easy to play. She's the strongest champion in 3 rolls out of the 5, right? So if you get auto-filled, you can play her wherever, right? She's so busted right now.
Well, she is getting nerfed back then, though, next patch. So you have one more day to do it before her movement speed goes back to what it was before. At the moment, though, Quinn, a bit of a surprise to see that locked in. I know Pulungiiboi has been practicing this as well. Very unorthodox bot lane pick, but I mean, if that's what you're feeling confident on, good rotations, good map control. A lot of burst damage given the right situation, and with supports like Nautilus still available, that could be a serious kill lane for Craigslea too. Okay,
so Taliyah in the mid lane here for KillerDownUnder. I don't mind the Taliyah either. Kind of a bit of a off meta. You say off meta jungle pick there. I don't know about the Maokai in the top lane. I think that's a little bit. I think you want to kind of abuse this top lane matchup, even though I guess he's safe into the Wukong. Wukong's not really going to be able to kill him. I think ThelilKitten is a much stronger top laner than the TheVlaxten. And I'd like to see him take something more aggressive, like a Cannon, for example, into this matchup.
I agree. I'm worried Maokai is a bit too much of an AP-focused tank right now. And I actually, if you wanted to play a tank, you could also take something like Sion, I feel, into this top lane. I don't think this is the right pick for
I mean, it's still all right, though, because you can get the AoE route, and then you got the heaps of CC followed up with the Taliyah knock-up, and so on and so forth. But I think another knock-up enabler for the Yasuo... another knock-up enabler for the Yasuo would have been nice, like a Malphite even. If you really needed to.
Yeah, Malphite actually I feel would have been strong, but I'm worried too much. That's almost too much dive into.
I mean, they have a lot of magic damage right on the side of Craigslea too. Obviously, Orianna in the mid lane is a bit of magic damage, but she doesn't do a lot of damage unless you get really far ahead. And in this Yasuo matchup, she shouldn't get too far ahead, right? Yasuo CSs very easily, has a lot of wave control once he gets his dash enabled. It depends if he can play defensively level 1, right? I think the barrier as well in the mid lane means the Yasuo can't look for solo kills. So I think it's going to be a lot more push roam and this Yasuo and Taliyah roaming towards his bot lane and trying to dive this Quinn Taric lane. Because the Quinn is obviously, not that good of an AD carry since he got nerfed, right? She doesn't do enough damage and she's not strong enough kind of front to back for their team comp. And they've kind of gone to Orianna and Jarvan. So I don't know exactly what Craigsley's trying to do here. Maybe if they picked a more traditional AD carry, something maybe like the Caitlyn or something like that, they would have been a lot better. But I think just because they have the Quinn, it doesn't synergize with the Ori, Jarvan, Wukong, Taric that they've got locked in for themselves here.
No, I'm worried. Unfortunately, having that Quinn really hurts their team fight. Quinn is a bit too, obviously most AD carries are solo target damage dealers, but I feel Quinn, you throw your burst down onto one champion and then you're kind of useless for the rest of the team fight unless you pop that absolute correct target. And I'm worried there's just not enough follow-up damage after that burst happens. Although aside from the Quinn though, Craigslea too has such a strong wombo combo. The foundation was there. Just imagine if the AD carries were reversed and we saw that misfortune on that side.
On the other side, I think that'd be almost an unbeatable team competition. I do really like the Taliyah Yasuo though. The reason why Taliyah jungle, I guess one of the reasons why she kind of popped up, right? Obviously, the biggest reason was she got the change in her Q to do damage, it does heaps more damage, right? But it's not AoE, so it's really good for killing jungle. But the Taliyah Yasuo comp is one we've kind of seen very much old school. The new version of that is the Gragas Yasuo comp, right? With the knockups. But especially if Taliyah is a good Taliyah, if she can land those Ws, right? It gives you a lot of AP damage, so it means they can't itemize full armor. Because if they itemize full armor, then the Taliyah simply gets a Marilla and uncommon, and there you go, she's one-shotting your backline with one WE combo. Especially when they're going to be staying as close as the Quinn, right? Or if the Jarvan dashes in over the worked ground, it's going to do a lot of damage. I mean, myself, I play a lot of Taliyah, so I'm kind of familiar in how she works, and I think with the Yasuo, it just allows. That's the biggest thing when you pick Yasuo. You want an AP threat somewhere else on the map, so they can't just itemize full armor and shut down both you and your AD carry.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong sort of situation right now. I'm looking at ZaHo and this Orianna, and I'm very curious what is going to be the runes taken by this Orianna, only because recently. Well, this is it. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of unsealed spellbook. With a lot of these mid laners who, might not have the fastest start, but are just kind of able to farm up. And then what you do is you take Smite at the start and get for that early runic echoes. And that Orianna is one of the champions that actually can benefit from that. So I'm curious to see if ZaHo is going to go that route this game or not.
I don't think so, because you've got the barrier, but obviously not the Smite, right? So, I don't know. I think into Yasuo lane, I don't know about that whole Smite mid lane thing. Like, I think it's definitely a decent option, but I think, in my opinion, really overall, it's just not as strong as it should be, right? It's not as, not strong. It's just like it kind of just ruins the whole flow of a game, right? And it's very hard to coach that style into a team that's not practiced. Obviously, in Challenger or High Elo, it's effective because they can get that early lead right and then snowball it. I think at this level of play, though, you definitely want to just, especially if you're playing in Iron to Gold tournaments at home, right? You always just want to draft a nice teamfight comp, very simple execute strategy, play simple, play the first 10 minutes as well as you can, simple lane phase, and then from there you start, the game gets a little bit more difficult. Because I think, especially when you're coaching, the good approach to take about it when you're trying to learn the game is definitely like, the early game is very predictable, right? Because at the start of the game, it's the easiest way to kind of predict, and therefore you can perfect it over time. Whether if you're trying to look at these different kind of strategies like early invades and stuff like that, it kind of messes up how the whole game works. And so it's harder to learn and improve because you don't know the variance in the strategies.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it also comes back to a lot of the points we've been making out really throughout the entirety of this season is that simple team comps, more effective. Closing game, because it's you know what your win condition is, you know how to attack it, and then it's from there, how well do you close out the game, and that's the next most important thing. And with a simple team composition, especially a team fight one, well, it's easy. We've killed them all, so we just run it down mid.
Exactly.
And that's how we end this game.
We kill them, we end the game. I mean, especially now we have another second here, we're leading to the game to look at our giraffes here and how dissimilar they were per se. I mean, we've got a couple things in there. We've got an Orianna, wrong side. We've got a Morgana on the right side. We've got, I don't think any of these champions got picked, did they?
No, I didn't.
So you got yours completely wrong.
I mean, my bans were half right. Like I did, I banned out Eve. Eve was there.
Yeah.
I banned out the Yasuo. Yasuo actually got locked in. They didn't ban the Yasuo, so that's sort of.
I mean, I would have first picked Yasuo if it was up to me.
Oh, look at this. We actually get a nice little look at one last run through of our teams. Northside, ThelilKitten in top, KillerDownUnder in the jungle, creative content in mid lane on that Yasuo, Walkster69 in the AD carry position on Misfortune, and SirZelli, the support Morgana.
And of course on the red side, Craigslea too. In the top lane, we got TheVlaxten in the jungle, Snell Pass in the mid lane, ZaHo in the AD carry position. We got Pulungiiboi, and in the support role, we got Lemester.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we didn't introduce them earlier. We ran a little bit out of time there early on. But I think both these teams, as I said, Craigslea 2 are very much a team who is the higher seed, right? They've won more games. They've only lost a couple games here or there. And they definitely look the stronger side coming into this game from a team play perspective. I think it's going to be definitely interesting to see Snell Piles not on Amumu, because I think he's played pretty much exclusively Amumu throughout this tournament. And I think, that's the biggest thing you can do for these Bronze 2 player, right, versus the Plat 4 of the other side. I think it's going to be much harder for Jarvan to kind of outpath KillerDownUnder, since he's obviously a stronger I mean, I think we can safely say he's a stronger player, right? Obviously, Plat 4 versus Bronze 2 is a big skill gap there, right? So I think the movement allows him to do a little bit more in the team fights with an easy execute ultimate. Jarvan's a little bit like that, but especially since he's also got an electrocute as well, that makes me think he's going to go for the warrior route, which means he'll be very squishy, which means he's going to need to time his engages perfectly, which is a much harder thing to do for a player.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't opt for the Conqueror Cinderhulk build. I feel that would have been more useful for the team because he is going to be the engage and going to be that front line. So he is going to be taking the brunt of the reaction out of Northside, and he needs to be able to survive that. There's really not much else besides like an Orianna shield there to sort of help him out. I'm worried that he's just going to get insta-popped later in this game, specifically by KillerDownUnder once we get into these team fights.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well is, right, is especially in these jungle stuff as well, starting blue side here is really good for Taliyah because she gets a leash on that red buff, which means she's able to path this new Korean pathing strategy you do in the jungle is where you only clear red side jungle. So you never clear the blue side. Obviously, Taliyah looks like she's pathing that way now, which is a bit kind of annoying to my point. But you see a lot of these high elo players like Tarzan or Jungkook, which is cleared, right, who only clear the red side of the jungle just because the Krugs camp and the Raptors camp are have so much more value in terms of gold and XP that it's just worth your time to just perma-clear those camps on respawn and completely ignore the other side of the map. And you'll hit level 6 the same time as your solo lane is doing that in the jungle.
See, I've been doing that for years, and everyone has always just said my pathing is bad.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, some players who aren't aware of it.
Finding, connecting on the Pulungiiboi. The health is going down rapidly. This the Ignite first blood secured by Wokster.
I mean, you see already there the benefits, obviously, level 2 power step up by the Northside there. I'd really like to see them abusing that level 2 power spike. Obviously not being respected at the short range of the Taric and the Quinn getting instantly punished there by the Morgana, which is something you would like to see by her, right? Obviously, that's one of her strengths, but they all commented sword to control zones and dark blinding because when she picks up, it's very low. Oh, Jarvan there.
Yeah, actually in trouble. Look at where creative content has found himself right now.
That's a really nice invade here.
Yeah, he might be able to find Sapnu Puas. They said, get safety to the tower. I'm watching the
Orianna could be in trouble here.
Yeah, or he might be...
We'll just see where the Raptors here, I think. Well, the Yasuo can't really catch his wave, right?
No, he can't. He should be looking to do that. But with KillerDownUnder roaming up right now, nope, they're not going to commit for the jump.
Nothing happened there in the mid lane. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, but...
All right. I mean, nothing really happened. It was just positioning. So nothing of value was lost with the camera, unfortunately, not following us this time around, though. But with that pressure applied onto Sapnu Puff already, I'm worried that the tempo is going to spiral out of control for this jungler.
Yeah, he's already pathed back to his blue side as well. Assuming his red side's gone, because he obviously doesn't know where he's invaded, right? That's a big loss for him because it means he's losing that Raptors and that Krugs camp, which probably a game from the top side.
KillerDownUnder makes the presence known. It does a bit of damage. A flash should keep TheVlaxten alive. That's perfect there from KillerDownUnder. I think now, I mean, obviously, like the team invade, obviously doesn't know those camps are still up. He doesn't know that he's killed them or not. TheVlaxten's playing very aggressive on very low health. LoLQHS not going to turn around this time around. Creative Contest, the one who might be in trouble. Sapnu, Puas, and ZaHo may have caught this Yasuo out. Flash still available. He's biding his time. He might try to flash over the wall. The Windwall comes out too late, and Sapnu is still able to secure the kill. A Dark Binding comes too late out SirZelli, and a flag and drag over the wall gets the jungler out safely.
Yeah, I mean, he just tried to windmill that. I think he should just flash over the wall immediately there once he got low health. Obviously, the Jarvan had the red buff slow as well on him, so it was hard to escape there for the Yasuo. So, you know, unfortunate timing. That's a big lead for the Orianna in that lane as well.
Yeah, very unfortunate misstep right there from Creative Content. Kind of gets Sapnu Puff back into this game after that sort of bad start. So Craigslea, too, doing a good job in recovering from early missteps. They're back in this game. Obviously, bot lane still needs a bit of help because there was that 2v2 kill that did go over to Wokster 69. I'd like to see KillerDownUnder actually further that lead in the bot lane.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should definitely start playing on this bot lane, right? You got very easy CC chain here with the Dark Binding into the Unraveled Earth from the Taliyah, plus the Seismic Shove. So that's almost a one-shot combo right on this Quinn this early in the game. Especially once you get those Dark Harvest stacks up in the bot lane, you can stack it up twice as fast as well. So it's interesting to see that, but have to wait and see what they decide to do.
Well, it does appear as if they want to do something on the bot side. A bit of a jungle roam happening right now as Creative Content and KillerDownUnder are starting to group up. They're not going to find anything, though, as Craigslea 2 decides to play back underneath the safety of their tower. But already we're starting to see that Taliyah-Yasuo synergy get put into an effect. Wherever Taliyah is going, Creative Content is sort of roaming a bit with KillerDownUnder. Just in case that play happens, they're ready to collapse on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of alluded to that early in the ban phase, right? Because Orianna has this barrier in the mid lane, and Orianna itself is a very good champion into melee champions like the Aurelia and the Yasuo. I mean, Yasuo is a bit different because he's knock up as well, right? But no, the Yasuo is very rarely going to be able to get a solo kill here in this lane, or at least a gank kill onto this Orianna, unless she missteps really badly. And I think ZaHo is a player who's not really going to misstep like that. See him trading heavily into the lane here, but he can get traded back with the autos.
Yeah, the trade actually going in ZaHo's favor. A good win wall stops the majority of the damage from being thrown back. But what you highlighted right there, the mechanics out of ZaHo is strong enough that you should be able to handle any duels from the creative content. That said, a bit of a gank happening up top right now. No flash available for TheVlaxten. Will be able to get safely underneath the tower, but an ultimate was burned.
Yeah, he had to burn his ultimate to get out there. I do think that Taliyah misplayed that a little bit. Obviously missed the seismic shove again, which is very costly, and also blue smarted after he'd already burned all his cooldowns. So I think if he blue smarted first and then aimed his seismic shove would have been much more effective. But I do like the little kitten here. He's definitely, you see TheVlaxten's using that deception, is it, on the Wukong to kind of use his double thing. But once you're the Maokai's already committed to his root, I believe the trend is passive or something like that. Once he uses that ability, he can't really, the twisted advance, right? The Wukong can't use the W to kind of escape it. It's always going to go to the CC, which he's done twice in a row on both these ganks. So he's been invisible and rooted, which is not what you want to see for the Wukong on the top lane.
No, you don't. Interesting, a lot of pressure being put by both teams right now on the bot side of this map. You can see both junglers have rotated down that way. Walkster getting targeted a bit, but not enough damage coming through. Seismic shove forces out a flash out of Pulungiiboi. Lemester getting harassed, so that's Northside winning that bit of a trade. No response from Sapnu pass at the moment. He was more concerned with warding up that Cloud Drake.
I mean, I really like that gank there down the bottom lane. He forces the flash out of the Quinn, who's a short range, and then this Morgana and F lane has much more kill pressure. Coming on level 6 down here as well as Taliyah. Should be able to grab level 6 with this Krug clear, and she can probably use a wall here to kind of block them off and maybe try to go for another gank down here with the flash on everything.
Yeah, it's definitely an option. TheVlaxten is again getting harassed, but another thing I want to point out right now is when we're looking at the gold, it is a small gold lead in favor of Northside, and that has come from the bot lane. Despite,
I think all lanes, right? All lanes are up in CS except the jungle, really.
Yeah, I mean, bot lane is the big one because you have the kill and the 15 CS differential. As a result, I kind of, again, want to bring up the point, I want to see KillerDownUnder really start to snowball this lead. I think Walkster is already in a position, based on the lane and the early advantages, as well as the team comp, the amount of chain CC that they have. This could become a MF game, and that's something we've seen a couple times in this league so far, and it's been very effective every time we've seen it. Northside has the composition to pull this off. I want to see them start pulling the trigger now.
Maybe a little trade in the mid lane here, but yeah, I mean, the other options available, right, is because all lanes have a lead, he can choose who he wants to play around. This Yasuo in the mid lane is having priority over this Orianna, since she hasn't got their wave clear just yet, right? Hasn't got the mana sustain to keep it up as well. I think you can also start playing around this top side since they've been kind of up here a couple times for TheVlaxten. Unfortunately, couldn't execute on the seismic shove those couple of times. You can see LittleKitten getting good poke down onto the Wukong there. I think it allows them a lot of different strategies, right? Because this bot lane's going to be fine no matter what. And you can obviously go to push the head. We'll see something here.
mid lane, a bit of action. Sapnu pass, making his presence known. They have to be careful because Northside has started the Cloud Drake, so everyone is there. And I don't think Craigslea wants to walk into him. A good dark binding, connecting onto Sapnu, forces a flag and drag away. But no, he just walked away, kind of faded it. That said, they will concede the Cloud Drake to the blue side.
Yeah, the Taliyah missed the seismic shove there again, so unfortunately couldn't pick up that Jarvan for, well, fortunately if you're a Craigslea fan there, of course. Craigslea won losing last week, so this is their last hope to kind of stay in the competition.
It is. Something I find interesting about that entire exchange, however, is as Northside was securing that Cloud Drake, normally you would expect your opponents to be getting some sort of pressure in another lane or competing for another global objective. LittleKitten got tower platings in the top side as the team was getting the Cloud Drake. This is a problem when the entirety of Craigslea 2 was still alive.
I mean, LittleKitten is so far ahead of this Wukong. Like, he's 80 CS to 61 CS, got a couple of platings up as well. I mean, I think that's just like kind of a natural thing when you play Wukong, right? Wukong is not a very strong champion in either top or mid lane. In mid lane, he works into certain matchups like the Yasuo, right? He's really, really strong into the Yasuo if you know how to play it. A matchup obviously popularized by, your boy Caps in the mid lane. But, Caps is a very different player, right, to some others.
Craigslea 2 Caps. It's going to be their big signing for next year.
Yeah, look out G2, they're trying to because he gank up in the top side by Creative.
Okay, content getting a good little bit of harass. A nice roam from Northside to put some pressure on the top side of the map right now. Again, I'm surprised Northside isn't putting so much emphasis on the top side of the map as opposed to the bot side, as well considering it's a Maokai. He's someone who's usually fine when he's on his own. Flag and drag connecting on a KillerDownUnder. The damage from this Jarvan is huge, and with the Cataclysm secures the kill.
Yeah, I mean, instantly goes down to Taliyah. Unfortunately, gets caught out of game by this Jarvan here. And I mean, I almost say Snapos is playing much better than KillerDownUnder here in the jungle. I think the Taliyah, I don't know if it's maybe unpacked this one. He hasn't played Taliyah jungle in a while.
Oh, ZaHo, Shockwave connects with both. Here comes that burst damage out of Pulungiiboi. It's not enough to bring down Wokster. Ultimate's being used. They might look for the tower dive. Pulungiiboi stepping forward, but they decide not to commit for it. Dark Binding does not connect as the lane will continue to push.
Yeah, that Taric ultimate was a little bit late, which means it gave enough time for Northside to back off there. Obviously, all had summoners up as well, right? So even though it was a fantastic shockwave into Taric's stun combo, they were able to get away from it and didn't actually fall down in the end. So that's good for Northside, but a great roam there from ZaHo using the pressure that creative content gave up by running to the top side and almost got something happening in the bot side. Something a little lead back, maybe they can pull up on later.
Maybe they will. I mean, you saw both mid laners were sort of making their way back down. As we are going back to the top lane right now, the ThelilKitten getting just harassed by a Snappo gank, but he's not going to want to commit underneath the tower. I like how you're talking about how confident ThelilKitten must have been feeling.
Yeah.
Because when you take a look at that item builds right now, this Maokai is going damage. I see a Sheen.
I mean, that's a Sheen there. It means he's either going towards like the Frozen Heart, right, or Triforce Malphite. I mean, Maokai, question mark. Gonna get the big damage there coming up from the top side, a little bit of extra threat there. But no, I think the Sheen, I mean, it's interesting pick because I don't know if Iceborne on Maokai is especially good, but it means he'll definitely be able to 1v1, out 1v1 this Wukong, and no armor yet either to the lethality he's been building. So I think the ThelilKitten is very, very happy, especially with his Maokai skin up there as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if that Sheen actually gets sold at some stage and it's not turned into anything and it's just used as a laning tool. Something that I can trade with this Wukong with and come out on top. I mean, I have the Bomby Cinder, which should become a Sunfire Cape for the side lane push. Maokai is actually going to become the side lane monster of this game, which is not what I expected when I saw these team compositions put together.
I think this Yasuo, I think this Yasuo, this Taliyah needs to be focusing a little bit more on this mid lane and trying to shut down this Jarvan. I think Snowpulse isn't getting a hard enough time in the jungle as he should be, especially taking this matchup and the aggressive runes on the Jarvan. Because right now he's a little bit further ahead, so he's got his warriors and chants only, the components for the runic echoes there for the Taliyah. And I think that's generally because he's been farming more effectively than Taliyah. I think he needs to focus a lot more on clearing these trugs and actors early on. I think that's really set her behind, because Taliyah's one of those champions who wants to gank more than farm, right? So as long as you're farming efficiently, you're able to gank, which is why she's so strong in solo queue in the hands of players like Tarzan, etc.
I do agree. The one thing, though, that I do worry about in terms of Craigslea is when I'm looking at their laner game. Because of how they're sort of, where this gold is going in the builds we're seeing out right now, Craigslea 2's lead needs to start snowballing now, and but they're still behind. So much of their damage is actually on this J4 at the moment. And as the problem we mentioned before, is as we get later into the game, because he's going damage, he's just going to unfortunately explode unless they pick the absolute perfect fight. So while you're saying I want to see more plays coming out of KillerDownUnder, I actually want to see Sapnu Puas try and push this small jungle advantage that he has right now and turn it into a large one, because the team does need it.
Because it's really the only they have outside of the mid lane now, which is kind of even between these two carries. Even though Orianna has that kill up, right, Jarvan got the kill in the end, so doesn't really have that lead either, which is obviously what the Windmill was blocking earlier. But yeah, no. So, but Orianna as well isn't one of those champions you're going to see as a big carry. So more of a follow-up champion. If you play it well, it should be able to carry through just pure like positioning and stuff like that, right? But I think especially with these team comps, there's not enough stuff, not enough follow and engage for a big Orianna stuff wave to really come out.
Unfortunately, coming through, Dark Binding connecting on the Snapu. He should go down. KillerDownUnder gets it with the seismic toss. Ultimate from Taric is only going to connect with 2 members, as a big Scorching ult does not do any damage. That said, though, member-wise, Northside is looking better. ThelilKitten has joined the fight and is just cleaning up. And Ultimate holds Pulungiiboi in place out of creative content, who will chase him down, cut him down. Northside with the ace.
That's a clean ace this early in the game from Northside, especially around this Mountain Dragon. That's absolutely huge. I was really good there from Maokai having the priority in the TP. The TheVlaxten actually came in late there, and that was a huge lead. And Taliyah also finishing her boots plus her runic echoes there on that back, so she had a lot of power inherently as well. Instantly turned down Snapos, didn't get his ultimate off at all that entire fight. The Orianna was a little bit mispositioned, obviously getting pinched there from both the Taliyah and the Yasuo, so she was taken down. That was a really good fight. Just perfectly positioned from Northside, and all of their ultimates executed correctly. Even they didn't get as much benefit out of their netball. That just shows how far ahead they are with the rest of the team.
Yeah, exactly that. Lemester did a semi-good job with the Taric ult. It did stop a lot of damage, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And I think a big problem for Craigslea too in that team fight was all the golden damage so far has been on Sapnu Puas, who died right away.
Yeah.
Didn't even get a cataclysm off. He was already gone. At that stage, there was no reason for Craigslea 2 to try and keep pressuring and taking this fight. They were already a member down before it even started. And for Northside, who was a bit faster on the reaction, the LoLQHS teleport had the priority in that situation. They had the wombo combo. It was really, the fight had been won at that stage, and Craigslea 2 still took it, still lost a clean ace, and now we're looking at a 5k gold differential. Snapu passing right by the LoLQHS, not really going to do much, but a twist advance engage, actually. LoLQHS might be looking for something. SirZelli doesn't want to follow up. There's no help at the moment from creative content, so everyone will back away.
Yeah, I mean, also you can look down in the items. Yasuo has now completed his static shiv. That's a lot of power he's going to have. That's a really big power fight for that champion. His Q is going to be down to that 1.33 seconds. You can see the Iceborne Gauntlet also completed on the Maokai and started to build the Spirit Visage, obviously for the Orianna in the mid lane there as well. And you see this kind of rotations around. It's odd to see the top laner here as the Maokai in the lane, but creative content showing.
Yeah, it's actually going to get cataclysms on right now. Creative content not going to be able to get out of this one. Trying to buy some time. It is not enough. Sapnu back on the board with his 3rd kill of the game.
That was very unfortunate there for the Yasuo. If he was able to land a double knockup.
Oh, flash engagement goes down under. Seismic toss hits the wrong target.
Still follow up another key though.
Yeah, I mean, this chase is still on. TheVlaxten is very low, and KillerDownUnder should be using the walls to chase him down.
No mana or Taliyah though, so couldn't really follow up as efficiently as maybe possible. But I think, you know, creative content could have won that 2v2, but unfortunately it didn't land a 2-man ultimate, only got the 1-man down. Otherwise I think there would have definitely been a double kill with Conqueror enabled there as well. So he's now got the 100% crit on the Yasuo, or 80% crit.
Yeah, at this stage right now though, everyone on Craigslea 2 has opted to reset. Despite being a man down, Northside had priority of the map. I'm actually a bit surprised they didn't opt to go for the Rift Herald at that time. Instead, they're looking to try and siege down this mid tower, but it was a little too late. There might be a reaction out of Craigslea 2 right here.
I think their biggest thing is, I mean, they shouldn't move to get it now, right? They got a bit of priority, and it looks like they are moving over there now. But yeah, prior to getting it, like they just have this lane priority. So you want to have your lanes, you want to have your lanes pushed in before you go for these extra plays onto different objectives, etc.
Creative content is actually doing a pretty good job running distraction. 3 members of Craigslea 2 reacted to the Yasuo, and as a result, everyone else is working on this Rift Herald. They do bring it down, but we still might see a fight. Dark Binding disconnect, and here comes the Misfortune ult. It's doing so much damage to Pulungiiboi, but a clutch Lemester ult does make somewhat of a save. It doesn't matter though, the damage is too high on Northside as they are running everyone down. A defensive flash out of Lemester only buys so much time before ThelilKitten and creative content are able to bring down that Taric. ZaHo, the last one left remaining in the mid lane. I don't see him being able to escape the Yasuo Maokai combo, and knockup is there. LoLQHS in his face. A triple for creative content.
There was a huge flank from creative content there. The Rift are going to be dropping down, and that should be an inhibitor picked up here for Craigslea. Another ace in these teamfights coming down. It was a really great ultimate there by the MF and the Morgana. They were able to pretty much like 2v4 there, get all the defensive ultimates out immediately. Which means the Yasuo come with a flank from the mid lane, land a 2-man knockup, get down.
Pulungiiboi's got to be careful right here. He's buying a bit of time. Sapnu as well, stepping very far forward, but Northside more committed into taking down this tower.
Unfortunately, Shelly didn't go straight off there, otherwise that would have been another inhibitor down. But yeah, no, so the Yasuo in that fight was able to get a really nice flank on the back, then the 2-man knock-up, get the last breath onto both the AD carry and the Orianna. So that was all the teamfight damage gone there immediately, and then instantly able to kill them, follow up a triple kill coming through that Yasuo. And that Taliyah as well did so much damage in that teamfight. I can't wait to see the end of game stats and see how much damage they've done.
Yeah, I mean, it was another beautifully executed team fight out of Northside, which does seem to be their strengths in this one. And this is why we were saying coming into this, yes, Craigslea 2 might be the higher seeded team, but on paper, when we're looking at the individual players themselves, I feel as if Northside is probably the stronger team, and they're playing super strong as well.
Yeah, I think Northside definitely looking like a strong side here. And unfortunately, they are like just purely over-executing. Their comps are a lot easier to execute as well, right? The second you land a Morgana binding, you all just pile your abilities onto that one pack and then instantly die. Another Mountain Break are going over it instead now. I mean, this game is looking very dire for Craigslea too. I mean, they can definitely still come back, right? They still only take, you know, an 8k gold down. They're very much still a strong team fighting side, right? They've got the Taric ultimate which can, if Northside use all their engage tools all at once, that could be a huge disruptor. But I think, you know, as these fights get longer and longer, this Yasuo is going to be able to clean up a lot more effectively. since he's going to have a lot more consistent damage, right? Because he's kind of like another 80 carry. But the MF's going to be more that bursty, one-shotty kind of character, which is why the Yasuo is really good in this composition.
I honestly do not remember the last time I cast a game that has had more Mountain Drakes than any other game. It's like it's always been all cloud. Oh no, creative content may be caught out right now. He tries to flash into the team. He will go down. So a net advantage for Craigslea, but already Sapnu is dead. SirZelli in the middle of everything, stayed alive for so long, but it's a double kill for Pulungiiboi. He's looking to pop up. LoLQHS may be that next target, 3-member strong, but Quinn is looking to run Quinn down instead. Pulungiiboi still alive. Kitten now is in a lot of strife as everyone from Craigslea 2 is there to pile on the Maokai. Shut down. Kill going over to Lemester. This is going to be barren for Craigslea as they got the ace.
That's a huge fight there for Craigslea to let him straight back into this game. But Orianna got a perfect flank there. You know, last fight it was the Yasuo getting the flank. This time the Orianna said, no, that's not how you flank. Let me do it. Gets a two-man shockwave onto the MF and the Morgana. And before the Morgana could get the Black Shield down, the MF would have had a perfect ultimate there, in that choke. And ZaHo just completely shut that down, killing both of them immediately and winning that team fight for the team.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Craigslea too as well, because with that, they get the Baron and they're going to stop the bleeding. Before this Baron fight, they were about 6k down. This, with the power play, should help them bring it back. They're not out of the woods yet, but you know, it's something that they can build around. Something that worries me out of Northside is creative content seems to be getting caught out a lot in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's not been tracking his Jarvan, especially in the early game. He got ganked quite a lot, and that's one of the biggest weaknesses is Yasuo. That's why you see Yasuo like 0-10 or you know, 10-0 kind of meme, right? He's a champion that pushes up a lot in lane because it's very easy to push, because it's very fun to hit EQ, you do a little spinny thing, all the minions like, oh, I'm having a lot of fun right now. When you're actually playing properly, it's not maybe the best idea to do that. I know I'm one of the players who plays a lot of Yasuo, and I go, oh, this is fun. I get to do this little spinny trick. This is cool. But you generally push the lane out too fast there, and then you're going to get caught out by junglers since your escape isn't that great if you don't have your minions behind you.
A bit of a dive perhaps out of ZaHo and Lemester. Help arrives in the form of KillerDownUnder. So much damage just coming out of ZaHo right now. But he's thrown into the team. The follow-up is there. Unfortunately, there is a hourglass which enables Craigslea to turn it around. It is a 1-for-1. Both mid laners die.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's the pick there instantly. You get the Yasuo combination and the Taliyah. But the barrier available plus the E for the Orianna keeps her alive. Retaliates with a nice shockwave, and yeah, it's a lot of damage now. As you can see, she's got double magic pen completed. I think this Yasuo needs a Hexbringer, and I think he needs it now.
I mean, no one really on this side of the north side has any magic resist, save for the ThelilKitten in the top side, who does have that Spirit's Visage completed. I want to point out, I like to admit when I'm right. I will also admit when I'm wrong. I thought the Sheen was going to be the item that's left uncompleted. No, it was the Balmy Cinder.
I know, right? Of all the items you expected Maokai to complete, the Balmy Cinder, the one hasn't finished yet. I would like to see him get is it adaptive helm?
Yes.
Yeah, for the Orianna. I think that's really nice. And because, you know, obviously it lets him stay alive in these sustained team fights. I would really like to see, though, a Hexbringer, especially on this Yasuo. I think if the Yasuo and the MF can survive this burst coming out of the Orianna, I think that's a huge thing for them. And they definitely need some MR to kind of fight back, because that's the only threat I see here for Craigslea, and one of their only ways to really take us over this game.
And it speaks volumes to how well ZaHo has been playing this game.
Yeah, I agree.
When you look at the team composition of Craigslea too, it's like, oh, okay, only one source of magic damage, really. We don't need to prioritize that as much, but in reality, all that damage is coming out of ZaHo on this Orianna. So they need to be putting more priority onto it.
Yeah.
That's something probably Northside wasn't prepared to face with when coming into this match. That said, still, we're acting as if Northside is behind. They've given up one Baron play, and they still have a gold lead. They still, it's solid 4K ahead. They're still the ones with the deep wards against Craigslea too, so we're seeing deeper vision for them. It's still Northside's game to lose.
Of course.
But ZaHo has the ability to win this one for Craigslea.
I mean, especially once he gets his Zhonya's hourglass completed. Obviously, the stopwatch is huge there, and saving him and keeping him alive. If he didn't have it, he would have died a lot faster than that little mid lane skirmish we saw. I mean, I think Yasuo was dead regardless because it was 3v2, right? But no, I think this Orianna is a huge part of their comp, and you know the fact that he's also optimized for a magic pen boost.
Oh my God, Monster just getting obliterated by Pulungiiboi.
That's some mad 80 carry syndrome right there. That's the thing you like to see in solo queue, right? Your 80 carry pushing off a side lane at 25 minutes. So, no, man, just sit in with your Morgana, seriously. But no, of course, a really nice pick up there from Pulungiiboi. I think this Cloud Drake could be immediately going over to Craigslea, but maybe at the cost of something greater here, just this top side being pushed in here by Northside.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. You trade objectives whenever available. Bot side gets ganked, a member goes down, immediately slam that top side, get something in response. You have a strong idea Craigslea 2 is going to opt for the Drake because it's there, they're there. 1 + 2 = 3, right? So respond, take that top tower. It's a bit of a consolation prize, but consolation prizes are what keep you in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's every little bit, right? Getting more and more back for yourself. And, you know, Northside here, very strong across the map, right? I think this Maokai is really big for them. He's going to be a huge, component later in these team fights. And so I think that even though we say, Orianna's doing a lot of damage, if this Maokai is able to get on top of her and kind of shut him down, I don't think this Maokai, is going to be killable. Very soon he's going to become completely unkillable. Especially since Storm's in a more backline build rather than the one-shotty kind of Yomu's Dustblade kind of build that you traditionally see out of those things.
Oh, Shockwave onto Walkster, forces out a flash. ThelilKitten steps up, trying to play defense.
But there's a flash out of the MF, which means you're going to have to position a lot smarter with the ultimate next team fight.
Yeah, again, ZaHo just doing everything he can to try and keep Northside off balance. That is a big blow to the team fight out of Northside. Maybe Craigslea 2 might start to look for something, but Lemester is the one who's being run down at the moment. There are no objectives on the bot side of this map, yet that seems to be where these teams are willing to fight right now. That don't fight over this vision. This is not worth it, teams.
No, I think, they're prioritizing this Infernal Drake, which is coming up next, but the Baron's about to spawn soon as well, so it's about which objective these teams want to prioritize higher. The Baron's obviously up in 48 seconds, the Infernal in 3 minutes, right?
Lemester.
And the 80 carries flashes down for both of these.
Lemester has to flash, but the response to it advance that LoLQHS throws Taric into the midst of everyone on Northside. A clutch ultimate will buy some time, but he is not getting out of this one. LoLQHS secures that kill. Just below the camera right now, ZaHo was trying to do what he can to maybe turn things around. A member down, Craigslea 2 is going to lose the inhibitor. The flank is still there. TheVlaxten is trying to return. He has to back
flash
to the fountain. Yasuo has to flash out. ZaHo might be cut out. A clutch shockwave keeps him alive. The damage out of this Orianna is really not making this a target you want to chase. The rest of Craigslea 2 have regrouped within their base. They're looking to possibly run someone down, but ThelilKitten is the one who is standing in their way. TheVlaxten's trying to find a way around this Maokai to get to those squishier targets, but all there is SirZelli, and ThelilKitten does not want it. Fight over.
What is Yasuo?
Oh my god. Pulungiiboi still
building a... I'm so confused. What's his recurve, bro? Is he building a Bork?
Witsen?
No, Witsen has
Witsen doesn't have recurve.
Yeah, doesn't have... no, Witsen's recurve plus... Nigga Conflict.
Okay, it might be Witsen.
What's the knife for? The longsword.
Ah.
I'm so confused right now. Anyways,
It probably is a Bork then.
yeah, it looks like a Bork.
Yeah, it will be a Bork.
Remember what he's building a Bork for though, into just to chase the Orianna?
I guess.
I think he just needs MR, right? All he needs is MR. Once he gets that magic resistance, the Orianna can't kill him, and with the Morellos, the healing from the Bork's not going to matter as much. He either needs that or he needs the other item you go, which is the Seraph's Gauge. Seraph's Gauge, which is really big in the Yasuo, gets you a huge shield. So, I mean,
even a Mercurial Scimitar would be all right.
Yeah, Mercsen as well to the CC, but an MR there as well.
Yeah, a little confused by our creative content's build order at this stage. Baron has spawned and each team is positioning around it, so the Baron dance is afoot. Vision in favor of Northside right now as they have control of the river as well. A bit of harassment as well out of the LoLQHS with those little kittens being thrown at Craigslea 2. I mean, I had to make that joke eventually, right?
Of course, yeah.
I'm glad I held back for 29.5 minutes before, but I couldn't do it anymore. It's a cat throwing cats. It's kitten throwing kittens. There it is, out of the system.
A little kitten throwing the kittens with the Maokai skin. I mean, there is a big thing for this fight. They are going to start the Baron up here from Northside, but there's no flashes on either of the carries. So the Yasuo and the Minisports are going to be very flashy.
Yeah, whereas you have full summoners available except for Sapnu's passive flash. That said, the Baron is secured by KillerDownUnder. Tackles and connects with a lot of members, but it's Northside just blitzes through them. Creative content coming up huge with that ultimate. ZaHo does get a kill in response and is looking to possibly take down SirZelli as well. Morgana has damage, but not enough. KillerDownUnder from over the wall snipes down this mid laner, and it is an ace for Northside.
That's a huge thing for Northside there. The Taliyah all going to come down. They're going to push out, get this inhibitor, and have a full reset. That Yasuo came up clutch in that team fight, landing a two-man knock-up with, a three-man seismic shove there from KillerDownUnder into the Yasuo ultimate. And this could be the game here, maybe, for Northside, the game one Jarvan taken out, obviously the Demolish taken out, I think is going to end the game. And that's huge here. Northside going to be one up in this best of 3 series, and Craigslea going to be fighting from behind as we continue to try to force a game through.
Yeah, Northside win the fight, take Baron, win the game. It's what we said before, when you have the team fight composition. What is our win con? We'll just win a fight, and when they're all dead, run it down mid.
Yeah, I think there was a huge thing there from the Yasuo. Obviously, I think the build could have been a little bit more optimal there. I think the Bork, maybe delayed the game a little bit, but I would like to shout out to ZaHo as well.
Yeah.
Was really, really strong. The Orianna doing a lot of damage. But of course, but obviously this is a best of 3, so the game's not over yet. Northside haven't finished yet, and Craigslea still have a chance to come back. I think some highlights of that game, I think definitely the comp. I do like LoLQHS played really well on the top side. I think that's a big thing. I think for next game moving forward, I think they need to get TheVlaxten a more traditional top laner or a tankier role. And so, as a result, we'll be able to move on. I think we've got some replays coming up as well before we take a quick break for our next game in the series. I would like to point out as well with our drafts here, I think, definitely, obviously, we've done the highlights here. This is the fight. This is the first ace here for Crazy T. ZaHo got caught out and the Jarvan went down straight away with all the damage. And then this was just Yasuo coming up this side here with the damage here from everybody else being available, catching out Thing Blast as well.
It's a bit of a chase down. And again, like LoLQHS and all of that just was so strong in the middle, absorbing so much damage, was faster on the teleport, was twisted advancing the right targets. Whenever someone tried to get deep into the back line of Northside, he was there to just sort of hold and pace, knock him back, keep things controlled in that area of effect what they were looking for with the wombo combo out of Craigslea. Yeah, amazing team fight every single time out of Northside. And with these replays as well and the highlights with that, I just keep going back to LoLQHS on this tank Maokai. Not something we saw coming.
No, of course. The Maokai played. This is a really good team fight. This is what Craigslea allowed to delay the game a little bit. As the start of the clip, creative content gets put out. You've seen this in the back of obviously the replay things in the background. But ZaHo came through, got a 2-man shockwave and the W there from the Orianna as well onto the two bot lane duo here for Northside, SirZelli and Morgs to 69, and was able to allow the Baron to go over to Craigslea, and delay the game. So, I think definitely looking forward, I want to see ZaHo played really well.
Yes.
I think the Orianna play was really good. The Jarvan from Snarpos was surprisingly good in my opinion. I think if they pick a better top laner that synergizes with their comp and an actual backline AD carry, I think that could really turn around their comp, because I think the biggest weaknesses we saw from those fights they had around that Baron, obviously the game-ending fight and those other aces, were the fact that because the teams were such short range in this fight coming up now.
This is that final Baron fight as we saw.
It was huge, and the Conqueror Pocket and Yasuo was able to stay alive for long enough to get that damage down and chase down the rest of the team. Because they were all fighting such close range, the Jarvan wants to die, but Taric was close range, and the Wukong of course in the front line, and the Quinn's a very short range AD carry. I think because the AD carry was so close there, it allowed the Yasuo to get a knock up into the entire team, right? If he throws it at the Quinn, he'll hit a couple of frontliners and then boom, there you go. That's a really nice last breath. And that's armor shred on the front line as well, and they instantly get shredded by this Taliyah. So I think, going forward, they've been drafted better comp. I think they had an AD carry like a Caitlyn, right, which we've seen is Pulungiiboi really, really effective on this Caitlyn.
That was my
in his solo queue, I think Caitlyn would have been a much stronger pick.
I think Caitlyn, and then in the top lane, something like Sion, so you still have that ball delivery, plus you have that front line beef.
Exactly.
And
I think that game could have 100% been Craigsley's to win. So I think, going into this next game, it's going to be very close to see who can come. But of course, that game will be coming up after a short break we'll take here. Should be about 2-3 minutes. So make sure you stay with us for game 2 of Craigslea versus Northside. back to game 2 of this round of 16 clash between Craigslea High School 2 and Northside State High. Northside currently 1-0 up in the series. I believe they're swapping sides as well for this pick ban phase. Obviously, Northside taking out game 1 in quite convincing fashion with a quick 31-minute game victory there. Really strong composition with the Yasuo and the Taliyah there. Both those players doing really well with this damage stats as well at the end of that game and playing quite well.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very strong showing out of Northside for sure. Their team fight was strong. Their side lane pressures were strong, really punishing, I feel, a lot of the picks that came out of Craigslea too. They just had the better team composition for what they wanted to do.
I agree.
Which was pressure side lanes, force team fights, win said team fights, take major objectives, take it down the mid lane, win the game. So we see more of that out of the Northside. This could be a very quick 2-game series.
I agree.
But on that side, like Craigslea too, yeah, they didn't win that one, but it seems as if their issues are something that can be fixed in between one game.
I mean, I definitely think for this second game, I want to see Craigslea draft a strong top laner that's not a carrier. I want to see VlaxTen on a really strong tank, so something like a Malphite or a Sion, something easy to execute, purely just because, you know, the biggest thing I saw was a big skill gap in the top lane. I think LittleKitten is very strong. I think for Craigslea to win, they need to start playing around that. I think the other thing as well is I need to draft a traditional ADC. A lot of their issues in these team fights were the Quinn being caught out really close by these long-range engages that Northside are running. And I also think they should ban Yasuo. Get creative content off his one trick. He's their best player, and you know these things. You never let the best player have their best champion because he's going to run rampant through it. So get him off Yasuo, enable ZaHo to really take over that mid lane as well. I think play around ZaHo because I think ZaHo was a shining star, and I think he's a really good player. I think the biggest reason why he's not higher ranked is just because he plays so many different champions, which is really good for this environment because he's able to counterpick with anything, right? He can play at Nakali, play at a Katarina, Orianna, Xerath, any of these champions, and play them extremely effectively. I think Snarpulse as well, now they're on the blue side, I believe, or maybe they continue on the red side. I think he obviously wants to get his Amumu. I think his Amumu is really strong, and even giving over that J4, I don't think that the killer, the killer is actually going to be able to take over and win with this J4. And without the Yasuo enabling, maybe the Orianna J4 comp they could run on the enemy side. I just think get him on the Amumu, get him able to do these AoE team fights. Even though he played really well in the Jarvan 4, I think this Amumu is easy to execute, and you can set it up with like an MF or some different wombo combo team fight carry, and let ZaHo pop off on Assassin.
Yeah, I think I like what you're putting up right there as well, because I also want to see ZaHo on something not Orianna. Yeah. I want to see him on something more damagey. As you mentioned, he does play a very strong Ahri. He plays a Stray Von Akali as well. I have a strong feeling LeBlanc would be in this person's wheelhouse as well, which is why, yes, if Sapnu Pass can get the Amumu, that would be really good for him. I don't see a world in which Northside doesn't ban that Amumu away. This game
they didn't ban in the first game, right?
True.
I think Liliona as well for SirZelli could be a really fun pick. But obviously, you see they have swapped sides as well. Yep. And Eve again.
And Darius is once again going to be taken away from VlaxTen. Unfortunately for Craigslea 2, VlaxTen's championship does involve a lot of these duelers. Yasuo will be taken off of creative content, so we will see that again. Katarina taken away from ZaHo, so that's one of those bursty assassins. Again, these bans are just coming out so fast. Each team already knows what they want to ban away.
And Nar gone as well, so the LittleKitten doesn't get his one trick either. I mean, now with these drafting strategies, the other thing I want to see for a Northside to really push a lead, I want to see LittleKitten on a carry. Because I think he can properly abuse VlaxTen in this matchup if he picks a more supportive top laner. And I also think that, you know, KillerDownUnder really needs to work on his jungle pathing and pathing to one lane and trying to snowball that lead. The last game, obviously it worked, right? They got the win, but I think he kind of played a little bit slower and spread his lead across the entire map, and we see the Sion locked in for VlaxTen, which I really like.
Yeah, I do like that pick of the Sion like VlaxTen, but it does leave the Aatrox open, and that is one of creative content's specialty. Also, a Jarvan insta-locked as well. I feel as if Northside is super happy with what was left on the table for them because they're getting strong comfort picks.
Yeah, I mean, these are big comfort picks. I mean, Snarpulse will have to pick up either the Vi or the Amumu. I'd much prefer to see the Vi because the same issues, sorry, not the Vi, the Amumu, right? Because the same issues are present with J4 as are with Vi. And the Ezreal as well being hovered here by ZaHo. I do think this is a nice lock-in for Pulungiiboi. More traditional ADC, a little bit more range when he's not going to get caught by these Jarvan stages.
This team comp is looking very similar to what I picked for Craigslea 2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, we should have the whiteboard still up because we would have brought it out who would have actually matched, as we did remove the whiteboard in between the two games. But yeah, I think The Ezreal and Vi are really strong picks here, and the Sion as well for the TheVlaxten is a much more traditional comp, and the Ahri's banned away from ZaHo.
That said, though, Morgana once again was left up, and SirZelli super strong on that pick before. Those Dark Bindings always making content, so good pickup. Miss Fortune's going to be banned away. I'm looking at this right now, and I just see Northside getting everything that they want without having to fight for anything. Once again, they're able to ban away both the Ahri and the Karma, which I feel as if would probably be the two strongest picks for both ZaHo and Lemester.
Yeah.
And without having those picks, with the way how Craigslea 2 is going, I'm a little bit worried they're going to have to break out something almost unexpected from this point forward.
I mean, I still think, obviously, you get, they have to lock in both their picks here for the blue side, right? And I think there's still a good amount of options available. We see the Kate Morg here taken very easily here by Northside. I like that there. Caitlyn Morg, strongest duo lane in the game. This Aatrox is still a flex between top and mid. We'd likely to see it mid with creative content, but I would also like to see LittleKitten played up in the top lane if he can, right? But we means we'll get counter pick, right, as well, so we can see where they want to move the Aatrox to if both players can play it. It's a really nice flex pick, really strong solo laner. The Lux in for ZaHo in the mid lane.
Yeah, ZaHo gets his Lux, and that is his strongest champion. Now, I like how you're saying, assuming this Aatrox is going to go top. I actually think this is going to be a mid Aatrox, and I'm worried that Craigslea 2 might not be ready for it. I'm very excited to see how creative content does go into ZaHo's mid Lux if that Aatrox is going there. Braum is...
I like this.
Yeah, I like that.
Because he's one of Lemester's good pick as well. I mean, I think the Aatrox actually loses into the Lux matchup pretty hard, especially with how good ZaHo is at these control mages. This is a very long siege poke comp here from that they've dropped it here with a bit of engage as well. So I'd like to see him play in Maokai again for the LittleKitten. So it means Aatrox in the mid lane and a lot of 80 damage here for Northside, which could be a bit of an issue if this Sion gets to itemize full armor.
It could be an issue, but I'm not too surprised to see the Maokai taken into the Sion, only because Sion is one of those champions that is very hard to take down. As we were talking about before, we did kind of want to see LittleKitten on perhaps a more damagey dually top laner, but into a Sion, it's kind of pointless. So opt for what you're comfortable on. Take that hard tank once again. We already saw LittleKitten pop off on this Maokai.
Yeah.
So I'm not too surprised to see him on again. It's a bit more comfort as well. As a whole, though, Northside's team fight, once again, is actually kind of horrifying.
It is, of course, the Caitlyn from long range, the Aatrox Jarvan are just going to dive on these backlines so hard and
with
take
the
down
Maokai as well.
Especially how squishy Lux is. Even in saying that though, I think Craigslea actually have the better draft here, and I'm actually tipping Craigslea to win this game. I think they fixed up a lot of the issues they had in the first game, right? The biggest two issues over here: traditional AD carry and obviously a carry matchup in the top lane for TheVlaxten, which I don't think he's that carry player for them. Which means Vi's going to be able to focus around this Ezreal and this Lux and get them further ahead. I think Jarvan really needs to kill this Lux early. He needs to play around creative content and get ZaHo really far behind. The barrier again means it's very difficult for them to kill the mid laner there. And I think overall it's going to be a much harder game for Northside to win as convincing as they did the first game. Obviously, creative content is a very good Aatrox, so that could change how this matchup goes. But I definitely favor Craigslea. I think they fixed all of their issues, where the Northside have got a slightly worse version of the comp they ran last game.
Yeah, I liked how you bring up how you want to see KillerDownUnder attack ZaHo as much as possible. That was something I wrote down on my notes actually coming into the second game, is where they're either going to need to heavily pressure ZaHo or avoid him because of how strong he is mechanically. But given the fact that creative content has opted for this Aatrox, that's not a lane you can avoid, unfortunately. Otherwise, creative content is going to find himself without priority and super far behind. So if you want this Aatrox to be effective late game, it means you are going to have to try and put ZaHo in the dirt. Problem with this, though, is the jungle. Sapnu Puas, a re-engage or a counter gank out of a Vi can turn a fight around like that. Assault and battery on the right target would just like flip everything on its head, and all of a sudden Northside's in a lot of trouble. So their jungle tracking has to be on point, and for that to happen, KillerDownUnder needs to have a much better showing than what he did game one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing as well is for Sapnu Puas, I really hope he takes Aftershock on the Vi, because it allows you to itemize damage, which you want to do on Vi anyways, because you see a lot of Vi's take Electrocute and they get bursted instantly. With this Aftershock, it allows you to get your ultimate off. You get into the back line, you're able to have enough tankiness to get back out again, and you get to survive and come back for another rotation of spells.
Yeah, I hope to see that as well. Plus, I always like, yes, in competitive play, tankier runes and masteries. I like tankier champions in general. I feel it enables you to fight more as opposed to getting those picks, because in a full 5-on-5 situation, more likely than not, you're going to be in full 5-on-5 fights. You're not going to find as many people out on their own doing their own thing. So I do agree, Aftershock on Vi, I would like very much. That said, I still am a fan of the Hail of Blades Vi.
Yeah.
I think it's super strong. And if Sapnu does opt to go for that build, which he might, we saw electrocute Jarvan in game 1, and it was actually quite effective for the first 15 minutes of that game.
But again, it kind of fell off, right? Which is what the issue is with the Electrocute Vi or Halo Blades Vi, right? You get those instant Vault Breaker procs, right?
Yeah.
So I think, Vi is very strong, and you've seen it bust out in LPL a couple times. I do definitely prefer Aftershock Vi, but I think basically this game is going to be decided in the mid lane. If ZaHo can get a big lead on creative content, which I think the Lux can do in this lane, the bot lane is not going to be as big of a pressure point as we saw early on. Obviously, the Morgana walking up and getting an early kill, I think that's going to be much harder than Ezreal and Braum, who both have dashes, right, with each other. Very safe lane together. And I think, creative content here in the mid lane is going to be the big factor. The top lane's a bit of a wet noodle fight. Yeah. Tanks are going to hit each other, which means LittleKitten won't be able to get as big of a lead as he did in that last game. And so I think, as I said, the mid lane is going to be a focal point of this matchup. And I think I favor ZaHo versus creative content. And especially in the 2v2, I think Snarpos and ZaHo have got a better combination than KillerDownUnder and creative content.
That said, I can't take too much away, though, from SirZelli on this Morgana.
Yeah.
Game 1, I feel as if it was, a fantastic Morgana. And I think it was almost like a little underrated by us how critical some of those dark bindings were.
Yeah.
And while, yes, Pulungiiboi and Lemester might have the safer bot lane this time around, it's still Morgana Caitlyn. As you said before, the strongest bot lane in the game,
One of
perhaps.
them, yeah, of course,
definitely up there.
Besides Lyra Khan, right?
Yeah, and as a result, I mean, I can easily see a situation where Walkster and SirZelli are able to take over a game later into it. Yes, you have some single target lockdown in the forms of Assault and Battery, as well as maybe Braum being able to get through there with Lemstar, but Dark Shield should be keeping Walkster alive for a lot of what Craigslea can try to do to pin Caitlyn down. If Caitlyn gets to 3 items, I feel Craigslea 2 is in a very bad situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think this Caitlyn is going to have a very strong early game, and obviously late game is all we know monster, but in the mid game, there's a big window where this Ezreal is going to hit his power spikes, and I think if Northside don't get a big enough lead in this early game, Craigslea should be able to run away with this game before they can actually start scaling up to their late game items.
I agree with that, as we should be going into game very shortly. There we are. I was worried there. For a second there, I thought I was going to be representing Craigslea 2, and you were going to be representing Northside.
Yeah, of course, we've seen the champions loading onto the Rift. I could maybe even see an invade here from Northside. They've got a very nice invade comp. If they catch up an early kill, it could be a catalyst to kind of snowball their lead.
They definitely could. I'm curious if LittleKitten actually opted for the Twisted Advance first as a result. They have set up a bit of a death bush, and they are stepping forward right now. It's all about this Dark Binding. If it is able to connect on anyone, because they have all been spotted. So I don't think actually anyone at Craigslea is going to step up towards it. Or are they? People kind of lingering around. Wards being placed, wards being cleared, poke over the wall. But yeah, there's no reason for Craigslea 2 to sort of push this. What I want to see right now is TheVlaxten actually stepping forward and getting deep vision onto Northside's top half of the jungle, but instead he only stayed in the river. A bit of a misstep out of Craigslea 2. So in the end, deep vision goes in Northside's favor. Nothing done in response.
Yeah, I also think that Craigslea 2 would definitely getting away with an invade there. I want to see how TheVlaxten actually does up in this top side. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things he can definitely kind of change from the first game. I think the pathing as well from KillerDownUnder here on the Jarvan is going to be, I hope it improves a lot, as the red side start is always a little bit better.
Yes, we are seeing, pretty stock standard jungling from both sides, each of them opting to start on their blue buff, so they will be mirroring each other. I think this is good for KillerDownUnder because if he can stop Snapu from getting any early ganks off and getting that mid-jungle synergy going for Craigslea 2, it'll be majorly beneficial long-term for Northside. That said, it's actually a full clear coming out of KillerDownUnder on the bot side, whereas in response, Sapnu is going straight for the double buff start. So maybe they will get to synergize after all. I'm a bit surprised that KillerDownUnder has opted for a full clear.
Yeah, I think, as I said in the first game, means pathing, early game pathing is definitely a big area he can improve on against some leads. You see, stuck in the mid lane, there were a lot of damage coming out of the Lux with the extra range, to poke back very effectively.
Yeah, a lot of aggression out of beta content as well. Opting for the Ignite definitely tells me that he wants to take this lane over. That should be a big warning sign for ZaHo that I'm probably going to be ganked and camped quite a fair bit this game. So I expect to see good vision being utilized by ZaHo as well as Sapnu Pass in order to help protect this mid lane. We don't see it yet. Obviously, we're still a bit too early, but that's something I'm going to be keeping my eyes on in the future. If KillerDownUnder can find those good ganking lanes in order to sort of pin ZaHo down.
Yeah. You see again, mid lane here, this Aatrox being poked out way too early by this Lux. I think he needs to wait and slow down until he gets an item or two, so he can start taking advantage of this matchup.
Yeah, he's already out of pots, and with ZaHo still sitting on one more, the sustain is definitely going to be in Craigsley's favor. And take a look at the positioning right now out of Sapnu. The first gank might actually come from Craigsley instead. Makes himself known, but is already far enough back. Is able to avoid a bit of the damage being thrown out there, so creative content will be fine for now.
Yeah, I hope so in that mid lane. Obviously, the Aatrox there, you know, didn't get a big nerf to his sustain, both in lane and when he pressed his ultimate in the last patch. I mean, the ultimate not as big deal, right? Just kind of just stopped the disgusting mini Aatrox combo that was rolling around at that time. But no, I definitely think in lane, especially into this Lux, he's going to get poked out heavily, which is what kind of forced him out of the mid lane meta in the first place. Because he's just getting poked out so easily.
Yep, as in fact, something I want to point out though is because KillerDownUnder opted for that full clear, now has a bit of a tempo advantage in the jungle only due to the fact that Sapnu's gank didn't really achieve anything. And Sapnu still has an option on the bot side. KillerDownUnder is the one making himself known in the top. TheVlaxten has to burn flash, but the follow-up flag and drag is there. First blood to the ThelilKitten.
That was really nice by KillerDownUnder, getting the red buff autos down first and waiting for the TheVlaxten to flash. Because he knew that with that slow, doesn't matter where he flashed, he'd be able to follow with the EQ combo. Very smart ganking there from the Northside jungler, and you know, Jarvan for one of his strongest picks besides that Evelyn, so good to see him, you know, obviously throwing a bit of mastery in that champion and knowing how to do that.
Yeah, the patience. Critical for KillerDownUnder in that instance. I know so many Jarvan, self included, who probably would have opened with the flag and dragon, just like, oh, got flash, that's a win, but no, instead, able to get both flash and a kill. Unfortunately, it's on the ThelilKitten and not on KillerDownUnder himself. That said, not the worst thing in the world from what we saw last game. I mean, we have a little bit of debate on who we felt the strongest player was last game round. I'm still saying I think ThelilKitten probably deserves MVP. I believe you were saying creative content, but you know, getting kills on either of those champions is a good thing. That's it, creative content has to burn flash. The damage out of ZaHo, huge.
Yeah, ZaHo there able to punish him very effectively. This Aatrox just unable to really get a lead and get these Conqueror stacks up into a ranged matchup, which is definitely why you don't take him in the minor technical difficulty here as the stream may has frozen. So we're a little bit in the dark, but let's talk a little bit how these lanes are going early on. Once again, we see a huge topside lead. ThelilKitten on outlaning TheVlaxten quite heavily. And in the bot lane, this Ezreal Braum's actually keeping up quite actively with the MF Morgana combination.
Yeah, I believe that is just a case of, you know, Ezreal staying super safe at the moment, as we can see our cameraman sort of exploring a bit, trying to figure out how much control we have over the current situation. Hopefully we'll be getting back into things shortly. I do have to agree though, Pulungiiboi is definitely doing a good job in keeping up with how well Walkster and SirZelli are able to farm. You would think that Caitlyn would have a huge CS advantage in these sorts of situations, but I believe a lot of it has to do with the elusiveness out of an Ezreal.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, obviously, we are expecting a little bit more technical difficulties. The game's just crashed from our spectators, and so hopefully we'll be jumping back in quite soon to our VOD. But we'll have to see how that goes, and we might miss a little bit of the game. But all's well that ends all right. We see so far. I mean, Craigsley got a little. Sorry, not Craigsley. Northside have got a slight lead here through the top side, and the ThelilKitten in particular. We saw in the mid lane it's quite a Lux-favored matchup, which means Craigsley, you know, as I said, want to play through ZaHo and really make him strong. I think on that Lux is a champion that can enable it, as long as he doesn't get caught out in those team fights by the J4 diving into the backline and by Morgana binding following that up.
I mean, really, it's a lot of what we expected after what we saw the first game and seeing these team compositions. ZaHo, the super strong mid laner, is doing very well in his lane. He's had a little bit of help from Sapnu, but it didn't really result in anything. That said, he's still fine. That said, on the other side, for Northside, ThelilKitten, superstar performance game 1 around, already game 2, doesn't even matter. The fact that it's into a Scion, they're still going to be trying to find those kills, especially pre-6, because you don't have the unstoppable onslaught available. So Scion, that's when he's most susceptible to games. So kudos to Northside right there, and able to capitalize on the correct situation and get it while they can. I expect post-6, that pressure is going to be moved to the bot lane. But hey, get something like, which will be very soon actually. It'll be like when we're next in it. As back into the match we are. We have missed a minute and a half of gameplay. I am sorry for that, but hey, at least there were no kills.
Yeah, and at least we're back into the match, being able to watch it as it's playing live now. We see, we might get the stats up in just a second how these teams are going, but as you can see, Ocean Dragon looks like it was picked up by Northside of the break. Oh, interesting stuff is by LoLQHS. This could be a big win.
Are they actually going to commit to a full fight right now? TheVlaxten super low. Help does arrive in the form of Sapnu pass, but it's too little too late, and there was no ultimates available just yet. Said LoLQHS, they're pinging it as if Sion, okay, so they're pinging Sion's ultimates available now. Flash was burnt out the LoLQHS, so we might see a return gank. Maokai is easier to jump on than a Sion.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. Easy jump on, but it has a lot more sustain, maybe a little bit more escapability as well, with the Sion ultimate being down. Both very tanky champions and hard to do in this mid lane creative content. Looking like he's going to be putting a lot more pressure onto ZaHo as he gets more and more levels, and hopefully he can get a nice combination with the J4 there. And get a well done out.
That's it. Oh, flash engage coming out for ZaHo right now. The target is Pulungiiboi because help KillerDownUnder is there. Pulungiiboi taking so much damage from this Jarvan. Ignite has been dropped as well. I do not see Ezreal escaping. SirZelli secures the kill.
Yeah, and there we go. A good kill there onto the bot lane there. And it's got a kill onto the Ezreal, opting for tier as well, which is not actually what you usually see. You usually see the Sheen right there, and Ezreal's going to stack up 2 tier items anymore. So a little bit less pound than Ezreal and capitalize on
ZaHo, flag and drag does not connect. The instant flash, good reaction out of this Lux.
Captain Jack flash there.
And freakish reactions by the mid laner there for Crazy 2, and that's why he's one of their star carry players. But see this Morgana Caitlyn lane to be able to push in this Ezreal bomb. Again, another plate here, 2 plates over to that bot lane duo, and that's a big lead for them there in the bot side.
Yeah, definitely we are starting to see some of these superstar performances as we enter the knockout stage of this tournament. This is where we really need to start paying attention to sort of which players definitely do stand out, because as we get, to semifinal, to final time, that's when these star players really, I feel, will start to stand out the most. Yeah. So it's good to notice things like ZaHo, like, hey, imagine seeing him in the Queensland final on stage, making plays like that with a live crowd. It would be so fun to watch her in response, seeing LoLQHS just dominate a top lane matchup or creative content, find those big flanks on Yasuo again. It's just, as we were getting deeper and deeper into it, at these moments, you start to mean so much more and more and more in the context of everything. So,
yeah, of course.
Seeing clutch plays like that tells me that ZaHo, maybe Craigslea might lose this game, might lose today, but I want to see more of him in the future.
Oh, definitely. Of course, we've got the Road to Echo tournament being hosted by Yuki just in the future. So if you want to see more of these star players, make sure to stay tuned here at UKU Esports, because we'll be showing that Road to Echo tournament off and obviously commenting in the live final in August. So all these players may be playing once again on a live stage performance. So if you're in Brisbane, come on, watch this class at tournament. So show support to UKU Esports.
Yep. Back into the match. Back on topic though, before wasting in front of us, LoLQHS once again is really starting to take over this top lane in form of CS as well as that 1 kill as well. Already has that 15 CS advantage, the largest in the game, very similar to the first time around. I feel as if this top lane matchup is really one of Craigsley's weaknesses.
I think the biggest area here is the LoLQHS, which I wanted to see LoLQHS maybe a little more of a carry. His Maokai game is obviously very strong. He plays a role for his team. But I think, it depends how they go in this game. I think maybe we should focus the carry up into that top side. Versus the mid lane, you see the Sheen once again on the Maokai, the LoLQHS trying to turn his Maokai into a carry of sorts a little bit. Especially into this comp. I mean, I think MR's more important here. The Lux is going to be the big damage threat, right? And Ezreal does a little bit of AP damage as well, so we need a little bit more damage. AP damage.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're actually seeing an engage out of TheVlaxten right now. Unfortunately, LoLQHS has no flash, doesn't quite have the takiness he needs, and it will most likely go down. He's trying to turn on TheVlaxten, won't get it time. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, creative content, diving, getting a solo kill on ZaHo.
That's definitely not where you saw expected coming in this matchup. It must be a little bit of a mess up there. I'd love to see a replay of that, as soon as possible, right? Into that solo kill. 2 big events happening. That's really big in the mid lane. These Aatrox can start scaling and getting further and further ahead. Both summoners burnt as well for both the mid laners, I believe, killing him through the barrier, but that world ender for Aatrox is just so strong, And he's, once he gets further and further ahead with his snowball, obviously building the Black Cleaver as well, he's going to do so much more sustained damage in teamfight, heal so much more damage, and be an absolute threat once it comes to these mid-game teamfights, since Aatrox is a monster in these fights.
I believe what happened in mid lane was just a case of ZaHo not respecting the kill pressure creative content to put down.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that was just like flash ignite. You don't have flash right now. You cannot survive what I am going to put in your face. ZaHo goes down. So creative content, a big win for this Aatrox in mid lane. The Pearl Track hasn't started. Sapnu just walking straight towards it. He doesn't care about the entirety of Northside, and he's able to not get the steal. He will go down. Lemester stepping forward, trying to get that kill into SirZelli. Unfortunately, the damage isn't there.
The stopwatch
is not able to secure it as the stopwatch makes a clutch save. That said, the rest of Craigslea have arrived. They're looking to continue this fight, trying to single out and target low health parts just on the other side of that wall. Unfortunately, TheVlaxten went down the right path, not the left one, so they do not find anyone. A clean escape for Northside.
And once again, that first dragon moves bountiful here for Northside and disaster for Craigslea to a kill going over. Not the full ace we saw in the first game, but that's an Infernal Dragon picked up for Northside, and that's absolutely huge for this team, especially with the amount of damage they'll be able to put out in these fights.
And it's SirZelli is the one who actually secured the kill, so a little bit unlucky for Northside that it's 2 kills onto the support Morgana. But Morgana is one of those supports where it's like, it doesn't matter too much because there's still going to be a heap of damage coming out of this champion later in the game.
And what a stoppage as well out of that support. Once again, just microly avoiding the damage coming through from the Ezreal skill and surviving that. The whole team getting around the Morgana and getting it out. We see creative content once again being chased by two people we've never seen this before.
Yeah, we've seen it before as well. The ultimate just came off cooldown for TheVlaxten, but no unstoppable onslaught this time around. Interesting though, to here's a bit of a lane swap is actually happening for Northside. LoLQHS sticking around in mid as creative content is roaming to the top side of the map. I'm surprised by this, especially considering the itemization that LoLQHS went, plus the fact that creative content got a solo kill before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit odd. I think it was definitely just more of like a LoLQHS had enough HP to stay around after that game fight where the creative content back. They might have just caught in each other's ways, and they should be swapping back very soon since I don't think LoLQHS can do very much in this matchup at all, especially with the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, this is a bit of a macro slip-up, I feel, out of Northside.
Yeah.
Sapnu Puas as well, clearing some vision. Has to be careful because creative content has dropped the ultimate. He's actually looking for this fight. He's opting into the 2v1 because help is arriving with KillerDownUnder. Can he get there in time? Flying Trap Capitalism does connect both, but Sapnu Puas quickly flashes out. Re-engaging under this Aatrox creative content will go down. KillerDownUnder, 2v1 situation, should be able to pick up the 1 kill on Sapnu Puas and is looking to run away. Reaction from both of the champions that were in mid lane at the moment. You can see the LoLQHS already down in half, throws that sapperling, does a bit of damage. ZaHo from over the wall, connects with the bind. The damage should be there. TheVlaxten does not have an ultimate available, but look, does forces out a flash out of LoLQHS over the wall to safety. No more kills this time.
What a skirmish. I mean, the Aatrox kind of popping the world under a little bit early there, and as a result, wasn't able to get that, takedown and survive through the ultimate. So that's one thing, when you do the Aatrox now, if you don't pop that ultimate early, you want to pop it just before you're about to get a kill so you can get the sustained damage, or before you're about to die. You're going to make a little bit of MR here to get that last sweet spot on the queue, but good thing from KillerDownUnder that back up. Snowposs was there first, and I don't think the 2v1 was engaged at the right time by creative content, or at least the ultimate wasn't used effectively. But overall, a great little fight there going on, and benefits of both sides here overall.
Yeah, I'm starting to get worried for Northside because I'm starting to see them make similar mistakes that they made around this time during game 1 as well. Specifically, creative content is just so gung-ho to look for these fights that sometimes he does it a bit prematurely before the team can properly react. We saw him getting caught out on the Yasuo. We're kind of seeing it again on the Aatrox. That said, though, just how much damage he's still able to harass ZaHo with, it might not matter. But you go in too deep, you get ganked easy. Something past there with the reactive play. Easy kill for the Lux.
Yeah, and grain creative content, we see she's pushing up too much, not being able to get away. And you see a lot more, it's a lot more easy to avoid getting put out on the Aatrox, obviously with your ultimate. But also it's harder to escape. Yasuo's got a little bit more mobility with these E-dashes, etc. And into a Lux, once you get hit by a binding, it's a lot less forgiving. So creative content there, maybe not respecting as much, and being caught out a little bit as well. So, we can definitely see ZaHo here going to start ramping up now once he gets his first item completed on this Lux. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, and creative content is going to be a big focal point in this game to see if he can kind of try to bring it back, play a little bit more for the team, and start playing around their wing clears in these big team fights.
I'm liking that both junglers are pressuring the bot side at the same time. You see That was Sapnu pass, looking for the invade. Hits the vision cone, but actually does not spot out KillerDownUnder. Still sticking around. Dark Binding does connect onto Pulungiiboi, and this prompts the fight. Ultimate's going over. Tackle connect all three. The flash is not enough to save Pulungiiboi, as ZaHo gets hit with the assault battery. Will go down as well. Teleport coming in. That's the TheVlaxten. He does have the unstoppable onslaught, but he doesn't really want to commit. Actually, I believe that was stopped. ThelilKitten was able to stop the teleport as KillerDownUnder was able to secure the kill onto Pulungi. Here comes ZaHo from above. He has a lot of damage. Walker able to sidestep the ultimate. KillerDownUnder acting as the front line, trying to buy some time. One more Q does get the stun, but there's no DPS follow-up. Doesn't matter. The bind hits onto Walker, secures the kill, and now KillerDownUnder on his own has to walk away.
Yeah, ZaHo and this Lux is just coming up big once again, getting roamed down to the bot side. Aatrox unable to follow. He might be get a little bit of damage on this turret, but overall, ZaHo just absolutely dominating this Aatrox in the mid lane. Even though he gets solo killed once there, Creative kind of just too many mistakes. Let's ZaHo back into this game. Could be another solo kill coming in here as well.
I'm a little bit disappointed that ThelilKitten didn't actually try to attempt a follow-up teleport as well. As once again, Creative Content might be caught out. 3 members strong, 4 members in fact from Craigslea are there trying to kill this Aatrox, who might actually escape. The unstoppable onslaught will hold him in place, but here comes ThelilKitten trying to turn around. Does not make the save. ZaHo gets the kill on the backside of it all, and all of a sudden ThelilKitten is the one who is in trouble. Stepping forward into the 1v3 situation, he should not be able to get out. This one I expect a double kill for ZaHo on the Lux.
Yeah, I think this game is slowly slipping away from Northside, and more into the hands of Craigslea. I think that Aatrox in the mid lane was a big mistake overall in the draft. I think Creative Content hasn't been playing the picks very well at all.
ZaHo's target, flag and drag does hit, along with the Dark Binding. Here comes the ace in the hole, but his body blocked by Lemester. Doesn't matter, KillerDownUnder is able to chase down and bring down ZaHo as he runs for his life up above. SirZelli might be caught as well. Blasting Cone is not enough to get Sapnu pass away, but the Dark Binding will buy enough time for SirZelli to make that walk to safety.
And they all get out. A good pick up onto that Lux. Gets the shutdown as well onto the J4. He's going full tank though. I would like to see him go damage, especially with the electrocute. I think the KillerDownUnder needs to get a more carry roll because I don't think you're getting that damage out of Creative Content just yet. And as a result, I think, he's got for this tanky build already, and it's just not what you want to see out of a J4. He's 3-0-4.
Yeah, and he's run electrocute as well. I'm a bit surprised actually. We've seen 2 J4s, each on the red side, each up for electrocute, not Conqueror.
And then gone for, obviously in the first game went for the damage build, right? This is more of the tankier build, and I do think, especially in this game, I really prefer Killer to go with the damage build, because I don't think
you have the front line.
You know how much you get, but you're not going to get through this mid game. I think the Lux and the Ezreal spike way too hard together in this mid game, and they have way too much poke, but I think unless you're able to get a Warmogs right, which Jarvan's not really able to activate ever, unless you build a couple more health items, I think it's just going to be way too much for him to really deal with. And I don't think he's going to be able to carry this game. And I don't think they'll be able to get through this mid phase with this complicated build. Because, Caitlyn's notoriously really bad in the mid game. Aatrox isn't that great either in the mid game versus heavy poke, because he's more like I want to fight you, at full health and go head to head. I think overall, it's just very difficult here to see Northside really coming away with a victory. They do have 2 Infernal Drakes though, which is a big deal on their side. They still have the gold lead as well, right? So it's still very much in their grasp, and the game is very much in the balance. But I just see more easy fights that Craigslea can take and win, and that means Northside's going to fall a little bit further behind, and it means you could probably be going to a game 3, which we all want to see, right?
We could see it right now. Another skirmish might be happening, fighting over Vision for Baron, which will be up in about a minute. Rift Herald's still there. Look how riled up that Rift Herald is. He's like watching this fight going down like, I want in. Get me in there. ZaHo's right in his face, but no, Rift Herald is going to do what Rift Herald does and, be all bark and no bite.
Yep, kind of just sitting there, Shirley's kind of looking and say, someone hit me please, I've got 30 seconds till I'm going to go away. I want to be used in this game, but neither team's going to opt for that Herald, instead just poking out in this jungle, and interesting Creative Content getting this poke out as well.
Yeah, I'm more interested about the fight over ZeLli. Actually, it looks as if Craigslea did start it. Dark Binding, going right through the middle. I believe, Craigslea did opt to try and start it, but they're not going to finish it within 10 seconds. The race is on. I'm curious if Northside will actually opt to try and engage it. And that's a good Dark Binding, meanwhile, on the Pulungiiboi, a better shield out of the Lemester. So it's good to see Lemester does know what he's doing on that Braum. Shelly does not go down. Baron has spawned, unfortunately, for Craigslea.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a ambitious thinking here that I've done very quickly as well. I think I mean, this ZaHo is just really strong on this Lux, and I need to kill this Lux if they're ever going to win any fights, especially around the Baron. Or I think, honestly, Northside need to just stall out for as long as possible and not go for any hard engaged fights unless there's a big mid position. I mean, I think that Ezreal hasn't really got his mid game fight either yet.
Oh, Pulungiiboi could be in trouble. Has to go over the wall, but Creative Content is looking to run him down. What a kill by the Aatrox. Lemester now on his own to Lonesome. Will drop the ultimate to buy time, but he is not getting out of this because the reset of the ultimate passive is still available. The rest of Craigslea are responding. KillerDownUnder is actually looking for the fight. No help from the team, so he will walk away.
That was good from KillerDownUnder, getting the Lux out the way, letting Creative Content out, but Creative Content needs to back as soon as possible because this Lux could insta-kill them. They should not be going for this tower, they just need to get out because they've got no minion wave and it's very likely to get engagement, but unfortunately, for some reason it's now past and the last team decided to go into him, so that could have been an easy, at least double kill on this.
Yeah, ZaHo still trying to get some harass down, buy some time, maybe delay the backs. In the end, they're not going to commit for it right now. Backs are coming through. ZaHo still disrupting the flow out of Northside. Like, they are going to try and back together, which I do like, but yeah, delayed a couple seconds. I don't think that will mean much. Meanwhile, on the top side, LoLQHS and TheVlaxten are going to have a bit of a fight right now. This is actually a bit critical only because of the Baron that is in the area, and whoever controls top lane right now does control that Baron vision, as I believe we may have hit another spectator bug.
Again, looks like the game is kind of frozen a little bit on us, so we might be jumping back to us, and this is a very crucial time as well. I think this is very important to see, as we see, we should be having to reconnect to the game. Unfortunately, another issue with the Spectate client, guys, and we apologize for that. But no, I think what we want to see here is I want to see Northside rotate the Caitlyn Morgana up to the top lane. Obviously, keep that priority around the Baron, keep the Aatrox in the mid lane, pushing that up, and then obviously Maokai down in the bot lane with the TP pressure to kind of help. I kind of do wish that Creative kind of went for the TP on this Aatrox. Yeah. I think with the Ignite, he's pretty much useless. I don't think you can really see any use for that on any of the...
Later in the game, definitely not. As we move forward from this point, definitely not. I think
I think even now, there's not many good targets you can use where the Ignite's going to matter between a kill or not, because I think Aatrox can only overkills right in this kind of stage of the game. He's going to be building a Death Dance as well, so he's all about the sustained fights. So that extra burn damage with the Ignite isn't going to be as impactful.
We saw it take down...
I mean, yeah, like, obviously it still has some use, but I think mostly you just want to... I think a TP having Aatrox in the side lane is much more effective. So you can put your mid laner, hero.
I mean, I do agree with that, especially for champions like Aatrox who want those 1v1 matchups. You want them to have that teleport, as we are already back into game. I think
we've missed a little bit, have we?
Have we? I mean, we haven't missed any major objectives.
I think J4 died. J4 hasn't died yet this game.
Oh, so KillerDownUnder was actually caught out at some stage, and Creative Content right now has to kind of back away from Pulungiiboi. Ocean Break good to go over Craigslea, and there was a flash burn as well, so I think KillerDownUnder was definitely caught out in some sort of situation. That said, because of no flash, I don't think he's going to be able to contest this Ocean Break. They will be secured by Craigslea too, so a small little advantage for them there off of what appears to be a hit.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he's been caught out there. You see the...
It was 7 to 8
maybe
before.
Team fight as well, maybe.
It was 7 to 8 before, and now it's 8 to 10, so it was a 2v1 of sorts.
Or maybe a big team fight, because I think there was an extra death on Creative Content as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, we'll have to look in the pod.
Yeah,
we'll see what we've missed exactly. But yeah, no, so looks like there's a couple of extra kills picked up. Fourth Craigslea too. They're still behind Northside though, just because of the CS leads, especially in the top and the bot side. The rapid fire cannon completed for Caitlyn, so she's going to be quite strong until this Ezreal. I mean, he already started his Ludens, right? So Ezreal's got his 2-item spike, he's got a lot of armor, so he's not going to be taking much damage from this full AD comp coming out of Northside. And I think this is the biggest stage of the game that gets very difficult for Northside to really win anything.
Yeah, they've got to be careful for the next 5 to 10 minutes, as they're opting a group as 5 right now, which I feel like Craigslea is like that's look at this juicy situation. If we can find the right engage here, this is exactly what we want. Northside should be trying to split the map right now. They do have that teleport still available on LoLQHS, which means that the TheVlaxten will have to react, and I still think LoLQHS wins these 1v1 situations, but instead, they're grouping as 5.
Not sure,
yeah, it is, but look where Walker is. He's up in front. He's already chunked down to half. There is no lifesteal on this Caitlyn right now, so they really do not want to fight.
Yeah, no, they definitely don't want to fight this, and there's so much more struggling for this because it's lost.
And they're just sharing this EXP and gold, and they're just losing so much for both sides. I think they really need to get this Aatrox in a side lane, because he can side lane stronger than both the Lux and the Sound. Then Maokai has a TP pressure in the side lane as well, so I think being 5-man mid is the worst thing that Northside can do, and I really wish Creative Content can turn on his brain here and play a little bit better.
Meanwhile, it's actually Craigslea who are now starting to branch people off, take secure some vision, maybe get some objectives, and as a result, KillerDownUnder capturing the special 3. 2 flashes to get members out. A big opening for ZaHo though. Does so much damage to Northside, and Craigslea are going to sweep this fight up. Pulungiiboi on the flank did get jumped on, but it's not enough. I believe that was a triple for Sapnu pass. It was. Big ace out of Craigslea.
That's a huge fight for Craigslea, and that's exactly what Northside don't want. You don't want to fight these players as a fight because they are so much stronger than you and they have their items completed. There's a double magic pen again on the left. Her ultimate just shred through the entire team, hit all 5 members there as well, and absolutely decimated your carries. There's no MR on the Jarvan outside of like a little bit on the Gargoyle Stampede, but he's mostly just a health Jarvan, right? Because you get teared through very easily by these anti-healing kind of stuff. The double Adam gives it for buy as well, so he's good on one shot as well. And there's Signs unkillable in the front lane. And Creative Content just doesn't do enough damage in his A-shots early enough to really do anything. I think he's not a mid lane anymore, he's definitely a top laner. And you can see the weakness in the Baron from getting killed.
Yeah, Craigslea will get the Baron off of that ace. It was a clean ace as well, so everyone has that Baron buff. And Craigslea, they want to snowball this lead they have right now because, as we were talking about, this like 20 to 35 minute like power spike is totally going to be in Craigsley's favor. They are utilizing it at the moment. They should be looking for another big team fight, get those inhibitors, possibly end this game.
Exactly, and you see Northside, these 3 members have kind of been together the entire time, taking XP away from both of the solo laners. You see they're falling behind a 2-level lead for the TheVlaxten up on the top side, despite the fact that LoLQHS absolutely stomped on him in lane, and Creative Content is also down a level on the block.
But that said, though, because of the positioning, it does appear as if Northside is going to be able to take a tower, but they've left mid completely exposed. It's just a matter of how fast can Craigslea punish them for this roam. Minions not in their favor. It's actually surprising to see Northside does have lanes pushing in both bot and, well, was in mid lane until the entirety of Craigslea 2 showed up. That said, it does buy them enough time to react, so this tower might be defended upon. They have to be careful, though.
I don't think so, though. I think they can just fight it too low. The cannons should be able to get out. But if you're looking to poke with the Ezreal and the Lux, and just sit back with these 4 members here strong with a sign.
Oh, LittleKitten is already chunked low as the tower falls. Creative Content as well needs to be careful. The shot does a lot of damage, but it's SirZelli who's the one who is caught out. A member down. Craigslea can really put the pedal to the metal right now. 2 low health bars, a dead support. This should be an inhibitor and a snipe!
That was a route into instant death for the Caitlyn. The Ezreal just one shot, got his 2 items completed. This is the mid-game power you see from both these guys. ZaHo does so much damage, and so does this Ezreal. So much poke, so much pressure under these towers. If anyone gets put out, you are going to die instantly. And Craigslea are taking this inhibitor and maybe look to push to end the game here with his death timer still on Wukong, still 10 seconds on him. On 18 seconds.
17, 16, like death timer so long on the main damage towards forward Northside. What can they do to stop this siege? LittleKitten rooted in place. He's still going to be looking for that flank. Keep your eye on KillerDownUnder. He's trying to get to that backlane, but ZaHo is not caught up in the Cataclysm, so SirZelli should be able to turn this around. Already, LittleKitten, the front line is down. KillerDownUnder has to flash away. Pulungiiboi able to get another kill on SirZelli. There is only 1 tower still standing. This is your game. This is your series. We are going to match number 3.
Yes, they're going to be going right down to the wire. Northside and Crazy both 1 win each of these guys. Clean up the kills. Shut down going to Morgana, and what a game out of Craigslea and ZaHo in particular. I think like, this is a big effort of all these fights. What they need to do is they need to dive onto the backline and kill the squishy carries, right?
Yep.
Ezreal obviously has mobility, right? But once he gets out of the way, he's not going to do much. If he can kill this Lux is so squishy. That's why Lux is so weak in competitive games. And obviously in support it's different because you get Resolve Tree, but in the mid lane, because if you dive onto her, she's instantly dead. And this Maokai, this J4, and this Aatrox were unable to get into that backline, and I think, you know, it was a big game where it's just a big mid difference game. I think the biggest thing was Aatrox is not a good pick in the mid lane, I don't think, anymore, just because he doesn't function well enough to kind of counter what Lux does. Lux just sits back, try to skill shots, a little bit of a slip up with the solo kill overall, but I think, you know, there's a big win there for Craigslea, and this game 3 is going to be very interesting to see how Northside can adapt and win this game, because I think Craigslea adapted everything they needed to win that game in game 2, and Northside now need to see what they can adapt to either get back to what they did work for them in game 1 or to change a different strategy to maybe turn out what happened in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I will want to go into what I want to see more of Northside in a moment, but first we have 2 replays to show you right now. This was the team fight that got Craigslea the Baron. You can see it was Northside. They thought they had the man advantage because Sapnu pass wasn't there, but they didn't have the damage to take that fight right away, and Sapnu returns just in time for a huge triple kill out of the Vi. This gave him the Baron, which then went on to set up our match-winning fight in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I think the vibe in that team fight, it was more the fact that they were like, okay, we can engage and we can go for this fight, but they just completely read it wrong. They didn't realize how strong the Ezreal was and how strong the Lux was, and that was where they needed to just be 1-3-1ing there. They need to be holding off, defending this mid tower. They need to have the side lane pressure to kind of split off either in the mid laner or the top laner, and because they had much stronger side lane champions, right? Aatrox and Maokai. Maokai was A ahead, right? And Aatrox is just stronger than both those champions in the side lanes. And if you can split up their comp, it means they can't go for these team fights with what their comp's designed to do. They're going to sit back, throw skill shots at you, poke you down slowly, and then once you go for these engages, you can't do anything, which is the result. Like, they had no health because they couldn't go in because all their carries were used to soak up burst damage, but there was no burst damage. It's consistent poke over time.
Yeah, exactly that, as we should be going into our second replay just about now.
Nope, got it.
I was hoping. Yeah, I definitely feel Northside weren't playing to their team strengths
No, I don't
either.
think so, yeah.
They weren't splitting up the map like they wanted to.
Yeah.
Their picks and bans, similar to their first game, but as you mentioned before, not quite as strong. And I feel like they aren't playing around the stronger members of the team. As now we get into our second replay.
I think it's a game ending little segment here. Yeah, so much damage coming out. So every time they picked a champion, it was instantly killing down. ZaHo with the Morellan Omnicons completed, and the Magic Pen Brutes just instant one-shotting. Ezra with both of his 2 items completed just does so much damage. So that one-shot into Wogs that just blew us away, right? And from that point, you're like, well, look, there's cooldowns on their 2 main diffusers here. The Aatrox, the Jarvan, and the Maokai can't really do much into this Lux. She just sits way too far back. But, I mean, she's frontlining there, right? But it's just no pressure here. Just Ezra one-shots his towers as well with his W. So, really hard for him to really do anything. And, this game is just crazy, just sitting back, playing to their comp, and game sheet is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I like the point that you brought up before, as if we didn't get to it, but you were saying just like, unfortunately for Northside, they were unable to get their disruptors into the back line. That last fight here it is right now. Watch the Cataclysm coming out and kill. Oh, this is after the Cataclysm. Dang it. The Cataclysm, it did hit the front line at Craigslea too, but it missed hitting Pulungiiboi and it missed hitting ZaHo.
Which are the people you actually need in the Cataclysm.
Exactly, so it hit the wrong targets.
Exactly, and I think that's a big thing of the champions they picked, and also, I mean, I think Killing, like, at the moment, Snellfox has been out-jungling Killer every single game.
Yes.
And that's the Bronze 2 versus the Plat 4 player, which should never happen, right? I don't think ever. And especially because he's not even playing a Muma either. So, I mean, this obviously means that we're going to a game 3, which means it's very exciting. Whoever wins this will be advancing into the round of 8 in our quarterfinals with a chance of appearing on our final day here as well. So this is a huge match. I think both these sides have been playing very well in the games they've won respectively.
Yep.
They've both been very one-sided. So we can see who can take it out in this third game of the series.
Yeah, we'll be right back shortly with game number 3. I am so excited the fact that we actually have a full series today in our first best of 3. So please don't go anywhere. More League of Legends coming at you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the final game of this best of 3 series between Craigslea and Craigslea 2, sorry, and Northside High School. These huge games coming out from both of these teams. Craigslea, coming back in that game too and adapting really efficiently. Well, the Northside, who had a really good game, weren't able to adapt.
No.
And I think they need to adapt if they're going to try to win this series. I think the biggest thing they need to do is they need to get LittleKitten on the carry. LittleKitten has played really well and been their best player, I think, both games.
Yep.
Maybe first game could be up to debate with a couple other characters, but I think, LittleKitten needs to be on a carry and really abuse the TheVlaxten up on the top side. I think that's a huge matchup, and they need to play through their top lane. I think Killer in the Down Under needs to adjust his pathing to path around this top side and play through him. I think he's way too much, his pathing in the early game's been really poor both games, and as a result, Snarlpulse has been doing a lot better than him in that jungle and not being able to exploit that lead. As I thought coming into this series, double plat in mid jungle versus bronze plat. I mean, that's always going to win, right? But obviously not. And this team synergy from Crazy looks so much stronger. I do like they've adapted correctly. I hope they just do the same thing they did from game 2, allow ZaHo to carry them and just sit back there. I think Creative needs to be in either Yasuo, Orianna, or Zoe in that mid lane. He needs to be on one of those 3 champions. I don't want him to pick Aatrox again. I don't think that's a good pick for him. And I think they need to ban Lux.
Yes.
I think they should drop the Katarina ban for Lux. I don't think Katarina is that strong of a champion. And I think you can pick a lot of stuff into Katarina. Yeah, exactly. Like Orianna's good into Katarina. As an assassin, right, you can just shut it down a lot easier, especially if you can get Killer or nice, something like even the Taliyah, right? Or Karthus even, because you've been playing a lot of that. So get him on something he can play on the top lane in, and get him off these control mages. Like both games, ZaHo's been so good in the Orianna and the Lux. Get him off a control mage. Leave that. I don't know what you're banning Katarina for. But obviously you want to play with a style. So looks like the shot caller is ZaHo. So you can play something a little bit easier to play. So you can kind of manage the team more effectively with a control mage. I don't think that Katarina ban needs to be there. I think get rid of the Lux and get rid of the Katarina ban and ban the Lux instead.
Yeah, and I also, to further on that though, I want to see more bans actually focusing TheVlaxten, because one of the reasons why we didn't see LittleKitten, I think, take one of those like harder dueling top laners is because TheVlaxten was able to get something like Sion. I think you ban away the tanks from the top lane, first TheVlaxten on something dueling, and then punish him for having to take that option.
Let TheVlaxten get his Darius, so you've been banning out all game this series, because I don't think that the LittleKitten's going to fall for these, because Darius is very easy to play against. I think, obviously, Gnar, he's probably still not going to use Gnar. Maybe if he does, that's a very good matchup.
Oh, that would be fantastic for Northside.
But yeah, I don't think they need to ban the Darius if the Gnar's not banned, because Gnar is so strong into that Darius. But even then, he can play his Cannon, he can play his Nico, which abuse the Darius in that range matchup and get a huge lead, especially on Nico or something like that, who can carry through the mid game. So I think they need to get LittleKitten on one of his carries and make sure that they're playing through him in the top side and let TheVlaxten have one of his carries that he actually wants to play. He's going to make mistakes on, which will happen in game 1 and then win the game that way.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And then when you look at the bot side as well, from what I want to see out of these teams, honestly, more of the same.
Yeah.
I think both bot lanes have actually been doing a fantastic job so far in this one. A lot of like what's been determining these games has been both mid and top lane. So as we are moving into our last pick and bans of the day, this is game 3 in a best of 3. Winner goes on to the quarterfinals. A lot at stake right now as we're seeing those first bans come through. Ezreal and Evelynn taken away.
Yeah, this is a do or die game for these sides. Either way could go bad, and the Darius is banned away. Ezreal taken away from Pulungiiboi. Obviously, very strong performance by him in game 2. And yeah, I definitely think they, blue side as well for north side once again, the Yasuo taken away.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not expecting to see creative content on that Yasuo again after what we saw game 1. And there is that Lux ban.
Okay. So Leona's up. Leona's up for Lemester. I think that's the one that's taken away, which I don't actually mind. Because you can get the Morgana into the...
They've got Morgana twice.
Then
They've got Morgana twice, and Morgana is available again.
Let's do you first pick here.
Oh, do you first pick? No, because you know that Craigslea is going to want to take that Leona.
Unless you want to pick Orianna here for creative content in the mid lane and deny it from ZaHo. I think that's what I'd do if I was coaching.
Yeah, I agree.
Take the Ori, but we'll see what they do.
Don't go for supports right now. I think support, you still have the better matchup.
Like
they're going to take the Kennen.
That's good.
I like this a lot. This is going to be LittleKitten on a champion that he can carry on. This is huge. All right, how does Craigslea 2 react? Oh.
That's a silly pick.
Oh.
I mean, Mordekaiser, I believe he's, is he enabled yet? I don't think he was enabled. I don't know. Obviously, he's been enabled for this tournament so far. Mordekaiser's really, really strong. He did get nerfed or hotfix nerfed. So he's not as strong anymore. Vi as well in the jungle for Snowpoles, and there's more misfortune has gone over with the Morgana, so we see the similar bot lane from the first game. This is shaping out to be a really good game already.
Yeah, and they have to take the Morgana now because there's no way it's going to survive the second round of bans.
Yeah,
that does mean Lemester probably won't be taking that Leona, so it's more reason why that's such a good pick, because it not only secures you the support you want, but it also bans away who you believe Craigslea 2 would be looking towards right now.
Yeah.
That said, Braum is still available. If I were Craigslea 2, I would take up that Braum right now, but no, they're going to opt for the Caitlyn instead.
I do like the Caitlyn here. I think that's getting a traditional AD carry, because otherwise I'd be instantly banning 2 AD carries from Pulungiiboi. Getting him on a low range carry. I think Caitlyn, obviously, not with the Morgana, it's not as strong, but it denies that ability from Wukong to kind of hard poke, but I still think they need to take a range support with the Caitlyn. I think a Karma would be good here. Hopefully it gets banned away by Northside.
You got someone's got to ban this one. I'm surprised to see the Aatrox ban.
Yeah, actually. I mean, I'd let him pick Aatrox into me.
After what we saw last time, so that's a bit of a surprise. Braum needs to get banned by Northside.
I agree. I think Braum needs. Actually, Braum you can definitely abuse, but Braum's very strong with Mordekaiser Vi.
And into a Misfortune well, right? Morgana, but I think Braum is super strong as well.
Yeah, I think so as well. So I think Braum can take him out, and the Karma, so I do like the Karma. Yeah. Because Karma is very strong with the Caitlyn. And if Caitlyn Karma is busted.
And if you're ZaHo, you're loving this because of the situation, knowing that Northside probably has to ban away 2 supports. He's just like shaking his hands like, all right, I'm going to be able to get a counter pick matchup with anything that I want right now. The only ban that they've thrown my way has been this Lux. My champion pool is huge. Come at me, creative content, with whatever sort of cheesy surprise pick you have. I will have an answer. Oh, they banned the Ahri, so Braum's up.
Also, it's not a champion pool. I think it's more of a champion ocean at this point from ZaHo, I think. But of course, it looks like hopefully the Katarina that's been locked in here by ZaHo, which, I mean, I don't like, especially into the Morgana, right? But obviously, this has been banned away from ZaHo all 3 games for a reason. So, obviously this Katarina is going to come in and see what he can actually do on this pick. That does mean that they're going to get the counter pick in the mid lane to creative content. I would love to see the Orianna here. Zoe's pretty good into Katarina as well. TF, I mean, he plays a lot of TF, but I don't know if TF's the strongest pick into the Katarina. It's pretty decent because you can get a stun on him, denies the ultimate, and the Xin Zhao, I like this here to put it down.
I like the Xin Zhao. I'm questioning the TF, but I'm also questioning the timing of that Katarina pick as well. I feel Craigslea almost got away with one that it's not being countered harder, but you already know what their bot lane is. There was no reason not to knock in the support in that situation there. They're going to opt for the Nautilus instead of the Braum.
Ooh, I like this.
Or the Taric. Taric's okay, but I still think Braum.
I think if you're going to go for a melee carry, go for Braum. Although there's not really any more range supports. Maybe you could have gone for maybe something like a Soraka, but you need this kind of team fight engage with Taric. I mean, I do think this is definitely Craigslea going back to that kind of first game comp they ran. They got once again a low range carry. One of their carries is short range. You got to carry up on the top side, and I think Northside have adapted perfectly here for this second game. TF is good into the Katarina. So there's so many counter picks into Katarina. It's not funny. That's why she's not like that strong of a pick at the moment in the meta. Xin Zhao for KillerDownUnder, I think he can really take over the game, and hopefully he can really put this Mordekaiser behind, especially pre-6 before he can get that ultimate and kind of just like duel you 1v1. And especially the cannon into this range matchup is where you can abuse this Mordekaiser, because Mord's only really good in these melee matchups that he can abuse. They've got a really strong cannon ultimate to kind of shut down them in the team fight combo with a Misfortune with the Morgana combination once again. TF's going to have constant pressure throwing out these gold cards left, right, and center. So I really like the comp from Northside, but Craigslea too is still obviously coming to this game off a win, and let's see if they can continue this.
Yeah, the other thing too that I like out of Northside when we're talking about how they've adapted coming into this last game is they're not going for something as super hard late game.
Yeah.
Like we've seen out of like their first 2 compositions. They're actually opting to play more aggressively this time around based on who they have logged in. So we won't be seeing this team drop off like the face of the earth at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah.
They're still going to be able to sustain whatever sort of advantages they may have gotten to themselves. That said, it's not as if Craigslea 2 is building like this hyper team fight team composition either. It seems as if both teams really want to skirmish.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot more of focusing around this mid-jungle duo. I still think TF Xin Zhao win pretty heavily, and I think especially with the TF, he has his ultimate, and in the kind of the fake draft we did before, obviously you picked TF for that side lane pressure, but obviously into the Ori doesn't have that same wave priority. Into the Katarina matchup, this is ranged melee, your classic matchup. He's going to be absolutely dominating this lane, especially if creative content's effective on this TF. And so, especially once he gets this role completed and maybe Zonius or something like that, he's going to have so much instant wave clear in this lane and be able to move to these side lanes so effectively. And 3 men on this Mordekaiser, sure he might ult 1, but the other 2 are still going to kill you once you pop out. In this bot lane as well, you land a Morg binding or a gold card into a Morg binding into MF ulti. That's a dead Caitlyn right there, even through the Taric ultimate. So huge ability to pick here for Northside, and their teamfight works a lot better than what I see out of Craigslea, which I wanted them to continue doing. So I think Craigslea have kind of reverted a little bit. Obviously got a little bit hungry about this Katarina, which even though ZaHo must be really effective on it, I still think what's been working for them has been working for them. And I don't need to shake this up when you've just had a nice win. You just want to play back. I think ZaHo, on a much more mechanical champion, obviously we're going to see his prowess, right?
Yep.
But I think there's a lot more error for margin here, and I do like Northside's comp a lot more.
I would have liked to see ZaHo take the Xerath.
Yeah.
If anything.
Or just any, like Orianna, anything like that.
Orianna
right?
was still available as well, which he saw he could play quite effectively. The other thing I'm looking at right now, which does have me thinking, it's not all doom and gloom for Craigslea, is the teleport on creative content as opposed to barrier. Yes, I understand why. Like later in the game, that teleport is going to be huge because it enables so much map pressure. Like he has essentially 2 teleports available, right? But Katarina doesn't care about late game map pressure. Katarina wants kills as fast as possible and then to snowball wherever Katarina goes. And without that defensive summoner, I feel as if TF might be very susceptible.
I think so as well, but I think the biggest thing for the TF with the teleport means even if he gets all in from the Katarina, I think he has enough ability to get out of it with a gold card flash, right?
Yes.
And you just TP back into lane with sustain, and then you're good to go.
Unless, of course, there is a Vi there.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why I think Sapnu is probably going to be camping this mid lane hard, especially if creative content is able to shove in the lane as effectively as we're assuming. I feel as if creative content really has to be careful he doesn't overextend.
And get caught out, because that's his biggest thing all series, getting ganked by Snapos over and over again,
Exactly, so and by that logic, it really does make sense for ZaHo to take something that can snowball like this Katarina, thinking he's going to overextend on me. Sapnu has been doing such a good job in protecting me in these first 2 games. This could be easy kill, kill, kill. I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to take this to that top lane where, there's a Kennen into a Mordekaiser, but that's an easy target as well for me. And all of a sudden, we could be seeing the Katarina show. Like, if ZaHo is this hyper carry type player that's going to go far in this tournament, this game's going to be the time to prove it.
I think this Katarina's been banned at every game. We're going to see if he's really an effective carry. We're going to see what he can do. I really want to see this LoLQHS in this top lane matchup shine, though, because I think he can definitely punish the TheVlaxten. And I think it's going to be an issue of ZaHo versus LoLQHS once again. Except instead of Maokai versus Control Mage, it's Assassin versus a Kennen, which is going to be very, very fun to see.
Oh, I am super excited to see what LoLQHS can do being taken off Maokai duty. Like, you have unshackled those chains, you have let this top laner loose, and I imagine he is going to want to show off his prowess and do what he can. You see the scores, it's 1-1. We are in game 3 of our first ever best of 3 for the high school Sweet 16 round. TheVlaxten is already flashed engaged on by creative content. The dark fighting is there, and there is your level 1 kill going over to who else but SirZelli.
There you go, the flash ignite out of this Morgana. All 3 games has been a really, really strong player in this game. Creative content flash gold card as well. The flash is down on the mid laner, which is a bit of an issue, but that first one being picked up, unfortunately did go to the Morgana, which means it won't be a big advantage, maybe get an extra pot here or there, right? But overall, that's huge. It's going to spell a boots upgrade already on this Morgana.
Yeah, already got some movement speed and some boots. I'm curious to see how effective that will be moving forward as we are in our lanes right now, or rather more defensive positioning. I do like how Northside was able to get somewhat of a deeper ward in off of that pick. What I don't like is Craigslea not reacting appropriately and getting those deep wards on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, I agree. I think Craigslea should have invaded on the bot side, countered that invade. I think like early warding or early pathing from both these jungles has been, suboptimal. The Battle Academia skin as well here.
Brand new skin being shown off today. Thank you, Mr. ZaHo. Again though, every single time both junglers have opted to start on the bot side of the map. Nothing too crazy yet. I'm curious where Sapnu is actually going right now. Looking possibly for that level 2 gank, going through the river. Might actually be looking to invade?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, it's looking for the gank already.
Yeah, I think, especially, the flash is down on the mid lane, so it can definitely come and take advantage of it. We've seen this bot lane, though, the Wogster on his NF once again, quite effectively.
Creative content is steps forward a little bit. We'll be able to get the yellow card. Here comes Sapnu, still under tower. ZaHo, though, goes deep as well. KillerDownUnder is there. We'll be able to get 1 kill onto the Katarina. Back before, that was an ignite, actually, that brought down creative content, so it is 1 for 1.
I think that's a much better advantage there for the TF. The lane's much better for them to keep you back, retain content. No TP on the Katarina either. Both sums burnt for both mid laners here. But Zinzao in perfect position to counter that game.
Good sidestep. Yeah, LoLQHS feeling very comfortable already in this matchup.
As well. So there's KillerDownUnder up in the top side there means he'll be stacking up, doing a lot of gold leads. You see this gold lead kind of balloon since Kennen's already up double Maokai CS. I mean, a bit interesting saying that earlier in the edition, but it is what it is, right? This Kennen should be able to dominate this matchup. Mordekaiser, if he doesn't let his E, is not really that great into range champions.
Good little cheeky stun right there by Creative Content, who is already bullying ZaHo so much, and this is what we were worried about with this Katarina matchup into the Twisted Fate. I feel as if Creative Content should be able to really bully ZaHo, especially when ZaHo doesn't have any summoners.
Yeah, exactly. Double longsword as well for the Katarina means she won't be doing as much damage with those daggers. This will be the easy which will be doing more damage. You see the full coming from TheVlaxten, but LoLQHS really so far ahead in this game. It's been difficult for Maokai.
Yeah, and I've been watching, what sort of trinkets and tools LoLQHS has been getting. We've seen some wards already put into use. Has a bit of the, is that the minion deatomizer actually?
Minion demon to realize.
Yeah,
interesting demon in the top lane for Kennen. Should be able to struggle that Maokai.
Should be Creative Content's in trouble though. Sapnu pass. Continuing on with this mid lane pressure. This is what we were going to be expecting though out of Craigslea 2. Meanwhile, SirZelli gets a nice dark binding, forces the flash out of Lemester.
Yeah, again, this bot lane, you see these. A second when these bindings land, there's going to be a lot of damage coming through with the MF, and do you see like this again? The same issues here for Creative Content being caught out in the middle after pushing up too heavily.
No vision.
Man, no vision, not tracking this buy effectively and getting punished. So, down on CS2, ZaHo, and in a matchup that's so volatile with Katarina, you have to see how he adjusts his play and not get caught out anymore. So this could get vastly out of hand and justify why they're adjusting Katarina.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see such a large CS advantage in favor of ZaHo, just because we were watching Creative Content shoving that lane and being very aggressive with his positioning and his farming. But if he's not turning that into a CS lead and he's getting caught out, things are going to go very bad for Northside very quickly.
I mean, I did notice in his stats for TF, he has, I think it's a 5.4 CSPM average over about 60 games on TF. Very promising when he has stuff like Yasuo with like a 7.8 CSPM, and TF's his second most played champion as well. So, for a platinum player, you definitely expect numbers at least at 7, especially on a champion like TF on the farms. Taking sorcery as well, or the Arcane Comment as well, which you want to see either the Klepto, especially for a melee matchup like TF. Since you get the extra gold as well off your passive.
A bit of
interesting runes in last
interesting positioning by KillerDownUnder right now, looking for a possible dive opportunity perhaps onto TheVlaxten, but with the way how the minions are shoving, that's definitely not going to be the case this time around. I'm curious how much time he spent up there, because when you guys set up in that bush, that takes a lot of time and pre-prep, and I'm worried that he's going to fall a bit behind right now against Sapnu, who's already, had a couple successful games. LoLQHS pulls deep, it's quite low as the camera cuts away.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest issue about this Mordekaiser. Once you get 6, it's very hard to gank, since you can just move it into the death zone and 1v1 you.
Ooh, Max trying Dark Binding out of SirZelli. It's not going to turn into anything, but SirZelli on this Morgana 3 games in a row has been on point 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, SirZelli has definitely been a quiet achiever in all 3 games. I think she's kind of been outshined by other players playing much better. I want to watch her just having carry performance.
Yes.
Right? But I think, the Morgana, all 3 games have been very, very, very good. But obviously, you have to see how she performs in this final game. Obviously, the winner of this game will be advancing onto our quarterfinals, and the loser will be eliminated from the tournament. So high stakes here in these games. You're going to see a game here which is played at a lot slower pace because players are less likely to win.
Now, I didn't hear the music in between, like games 2 and 3, whatever we were playing during our break.
Yeah.
I really hope it was some variation of Silver Scrapes.
I mean, it has to be, right? It's League of Legends. If you're not playing Silver Scrapes for game 5,
and
for Mark Z rendition.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It has to be the Mark Z rendition because we can't step on Riot. Big action happening mid lane right now. ZaHo trying to get that harassed, but no. I think high schoolers would appreciate the Mark Z rendition.
Do you want to give us a little bit of your
Oh God, that sounded like that was depressed. That was like the sad version.
Isn't it a bee-woo-woo or something?
Snapu actually in a bit of trouble right now. 3 members from Northside able to jump on him. ZaHo kind of takes a look, says, "I want no part of that." KillerDownUnder with the kill.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great pick there. If we jump back into the game, Warren Enchant almost completed here on the Z-Zao. Can he control what in the river from the pick out?
Pulungiiboi is actually in a bit of trouble right now. The biting connected after he sort of tried to trade and lose with SirZelli. Ignite was dropped. Flash is still available. No one's going to go down there in top side as well. LoLQHS has actually just been getting harassed so much by TheVlaxten, but still managing to keep that CS. KillerDownUnder was looking for a gank, but instead walks over that control.
Yeah, and as you can see in these fights, I mean, the other thing we didn't talk about is actually the Mordekai's the ultimate in these team fights. If Wogs doesn't do a QSS, you mean you could either ult out this MF and then there goes all your damage in these team fights. You know, from the Mordekai's ult, one of the biggest things when I saw the rework, I went, this is so busted. If you can't QSS it, if you can't get out of that Mordekai's ultimate, you just instantly lose a team fight because you can just ult one of your damage carries. You don't use, wait for the team fight out and use freaking ratings down here.
Yeah, good job at Craigslea too. They moved everyone down to the bot side as creative content is resetting, shoved the bot line away, realized they have complete control over the Dragon Pit, and it will be an uncontested Ocean Drake for the red side.
I mean, Ocean Drake is probably one of the weakest dragons in the game, but still, especially early on when you're playing these melee into range matchups, cannot go more appreciated than now. Yeah. Just simply the extra sustain that Mordekai's is going to get and the Taliyah is going to get in this mid lane is absolutely huge for them.
I feel like TheVlaxten is actually, the one who's going to be appreciating that the most. And he wasn't even there to help secure it. So that's the team doing a bro move for their top laner. Like, we got you, man. We know you're going to be kind of stuck on an island up there. Kennen into Mordekaiser might not be the most fun, but we're going to do what we can from the opposite end of the map.
Yeah, that's very good to see. Up in the top lane especially, already a 20 CS lead built there in favor of the Kennen. A bit of a lead there in the jungle for the Zinzao. He needs to back and get that Warrior. He's not going to be doing too much once he gets that item. Interesting to see what TF's doing in the mid lane. Looks like he's going for a... Luden's upgrade, maybe?
I'm assuming it will be
I hope Luden's, but I don't know. It's a very odd build for TF. Only you want to see Roa, Lichbane, and then, Zombies or, items like similar death stuff like that. So
TF is another one of those mid laners, so I think benefits a lot from this sort of unsealed spellbook strategy mid lane. I think it would have actually been really good, especially if he's going to be opting for the Luden first. There's no reason why he shouldn't have gone for that.
I think creative content, until last time I was putting Walk and stuff in the Yasuo game. I don't know, from what I've seen in play, obviously, hopefully they can, both these sides will continue this tournament, but I think there's a lot of things to work on, especially as a mid laner. I mean, given he's like so high rated as well, it's kind of mistakes you don't really expect him to go this high up, but obviously that is something that the team is going to work on, and maybe he's putting on play test rate and solo queue that he's hit different from in these games, but obviously, these players aren't perfect. He's doing what he's doing for his sake, and he's going to be right. That's what League of Legends is, all about your style.
It is. Play your game. I believe that's something Captain Flowers always says. Play your game how you want to, and all he wants to do is solo Skarner.
Play full AD Skarner.
Just play full AD Skarner all the time. No Skarners today, though, but SirZelli is actually the one getting harassed by Pulungiiboi. He's stepping past the cannon minions. Could be in a bit of trouble right now, making it rain, keeping him slow. A bit of a cannon block as well, but no further engage from Northside. I'm curious by that one. I thought for sure Northside could turn that around on Pulungi.
I mean, Pulungiiboi's going to be absolute and the first crit item there, the cloak completed onto the Caitlyn. So, which is very, very strong. You can insta-poke down SirZelli, especially with the MF in a little bit out of position. You see a 20 CS lane down there for them as well. And mid lane roughly.
This is the first time actually Pulungiiboi has had a CS lead in the bot lane. The first two games it has been all Wogster 69 and SirZelli really sort of dominating it, with Pulungiiboi coming more online later into the game. The tower again, but the minions are there, so good patience from LoLQHS, stepping out of tower range before back in and dropping that harass. He's playing that line. That stun and damage. TheVlaxten under tower is actually in a bit of trouble. He's going to try and recall. Yeah, he's trying to buy time. He's waiting for KillerDownUnder to make his way up. That is such a low health Mordekaiser. He's going to try and run away. Yeah,
up as well.
KillerDownUnder should be able to secure it. I want to watch that top lane. There he is. He's looking for it. Gets a bit of poke, but no misses and backs away. Flash was used.
Oh, wait. Oh, Mordekaiser the flash right from the flash.
Yeah, it's a flash for
flash. I was like, how does it not get him? But Halo Blaze is on the Zinzao, interesting. Didn't really see Phase Rush is a little bit stronger on the Zinzao, since you don't need that knock-up burst immediately.
Oh, that's not the TP you want to take,
That's
especially when creative content is there. No yellow card ready for him, but good strike. Meanwhile, down bot, the Taric is going to come through, but the stun is more important, stopping that ultimate. Too late on the black shield, and SirZelli is the one in trouble. Ignited before trying to turn it back around in top side as well. There comes that yellow card, but it's too little too late. KillerDownUnder coming back to look for a possible tower dive. The ultimate has been dropped, but as soon as it comes up, here comes the engage. There's the chain CC with the stopwatch to keep the LoLQHS safe, and the kill is secured.
I really like
more action. SirZelli is getting just an ZaHo popping, gets one, gets two, hit for tat, big kills in both the top and the bot lane.
Gunblade competed for that Katarina in the lane as well, and that's kind of the issue you see with this TF. I think Creative Content has just not been on top of this mid lane, doesn't understand priority as well as ZaHo does. He was up in that top lane for way too long. Sure, ended in a kill for them, right? But, you know, he needs to be shoving in this Katarina and making sure she's tied down. She can't go and spread her lead around the map. Because the Gunblade competitor now, she's actually huge. 3-1-1 on this Katarina. She gets a Dark Steel completed, gets a couple more kills. She's got some plating there as well. She's got a lot of gold now on her side. And I think Creative Content's going to be a lot more defensive, right? Especially going for 10 boots as well on this TF. I don't know if that's a real option.
And I think that little exchange really showcased the mental from both of these teams and why I think Craigslea might be in a better place. Yeah. There was no hesitation from ZaHo with that bot side dive. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map with Northside, they didn't commit to what looked to be a terrible teleport. Yeah. There was more than enough time for Creative Content to start that chain CC with that gold card the moment the TheVlaxten arrived. You already knew that you had a stopwatch available to sort of negate a lot of that tower damage from ThelilKitten, which they did apply later. Like, the play still happened, but it didn't happen at its optimal moment. They had to regroup and then attempt it again.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you there. I mean, Creative Content, I mean, again, like, I'm just being out mid lane here by ZaHo. You know, especially in the range matchup, only 4 CS up. Builds are kind of a bit weird, he's a little bit behind. This Katarina is so strong right now. Definitely for all into Inferno Drake coming up, got bot lane pressure. You know, with the
actually, where the bot lanes are right now. This could be problematic for Walkster and SirZelli. Nope, it said the vision apparently is more important to clear. I think Sapnu could have still gone for it.
I definitely think he could have gone for a flash engage. That Taric was, you know, near enough for bouncing around. I think this is going to be a top side of the map versus bottom side of the map. But unfortunately, just the Dragons are in favour here for Craigslea. The Inferno Dragons are absolutely huge, especially with this Katarina. Not up to go for it just yet, and get a little bit more movement priority. I want to see KillerDownUnder doing a little bit more. He hasn't done much on his mid down.
Oh, here comes the all-in attempt, but a bit of a return game from KillerDownUnder. ZaHo will back away, so he does save Creative Content's life right there.
Yeah, I mean, Creative Content as well, putting the red card instead of the stun card. I mean, Katarina can ultimate off. Just a couple of mechanical mistakes from champion like TF, which you can't really afford, especially when he's your second most played.
Well, I've been seeing mechanical mistakes actually across the board from Northside as well. Yeah. Like we saw at bot lane with some of those dark shields actually is coming up a little bit too late to stop the chain CC. At the moment though, it should be an uncontested Infernal Drake unless we see something crazy out of Northside, but they step up too late. Here comes the ultimate out of MF, who is now in the front line, but it doesn't matter. The target was SirZelli. They're going to easily switch targets to the MF as well. Walkster goes down. Creative Content there with the yellow card does connect on the Pulungiiboi, but no follow-up damage. 2 more kills in favor of Craigslea.
And take out the ThelilKitten as well. I think that was a very bad play by Northside. That's a huge lead over to Craigslea. These Dragons kind of determine which way the game is going to go. And once again, I mean not once again, but the first time, Northside actually got an advantageous dragon fight due to this Katarina being so strong. I think like they need to play around top side here. They really need to hard play around the ThelilKitten. That's their big key here for Northside. I think he's, you know, obviously in both the games he's one of their best performers. And I think they need to play around ThelilKitten, play towards the top side, get this top lane tower down, snowball through the cannon, get the cannon fed, get the cannon strong, because the TF's not going to do much in this matchup. The MF's already a little bit too far behind to kind of catch up with this Caitlyn. I think you just have to play through this cannon, hopefully he can carry this game.
Yeah, you've got to find those wombo combo team fights. That's what it's going to be, and it's going to be through a good flank out of the ThelilKitten, enabling, you know, that wombo to come down, and to do that effectively, ThelilKitten needs to be doing so much damage, so he needs to start getting kills and start getting gold funneled into him. Good finding though, still coming out SirZelli. Lemester on this Taric though, every single time it seems as if Northside has an opportunity in this bot lane, Lemester has been on point with the crowd control and the use of the abilities to just sort of stop it before it's happening. It's something we didn't really see out of the first game out of the Taric, but this time around, Lemester looks much more comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. Taric's been very good in both games he's played it. Able to get the stuns down at the right time. His ultimate's been very effective as well. I mean, I just think, yeah, like there's a lot of, like SirZelli's been definitely playing a lot better, but just ZaHo being roaming down to this bot side has completely turned that matchup around. And it's just build issues, I think, out of both the mid lane, out of the mid lane Creative Content and just not being able to move around the map and using that TF ult effectively.
That's said right now, SirZelli taking the dangerous way, I guess, harassing down a bit, but has ZaHo. Now, yeah, see, ZaHo's now in a position in that mid lane where he can just harass and force Creative Content away. And that is a disaster for what Northside wanted to be doing this game.
Especially when you had a counter pick, right?
Exactly.
Even though they picked the Kater early, the TF as well is a counter pick to like any assassin, right? Especially the Queens matchup is a famous counter pick, right, as well. Because you're able to just freeze the wave and just zone them off. But Creative Content obviously not good enough on this TF to actually do that strategy effectively.
and is being punished for it. And Craigslea, through this Katarina, could definitely throw him, snowball a victory here in this mid game. That's obviously why it was banned out every single game.
As it was, good for SirZelli to avoid the Dark 5 bait. As I'm watching, members from Northside seem to be roaming down to this bot side of the map. It doesn't appear as if this will be a Rift Herald game.
I don't think so. Have we got a Rift Herald? Oh, we had Rift Herald taken in the first game.
Yeah, it was taken in the first game. It was almost taken in the second game, but time ran out mid-Rift Herald attempt. And Walkster, I've seen a lot of people just getting harassed right there. Here comes a bit of a jungle fight, which will draw the attention of the bot laner. Teleport coming through for TheVlaxten now. Big Taric will come through just in the nick of time to keep everyone alive. The defensive flash from KillerDownUnder leaves this poor little kitten alone. He tries to flash away safely. Jungle sacrificing his life, but he has to mind his way through where SirZelli has being dealt with by TheVlaxten. And here comes the dive out of ZaHo. Big ultimate gets a couple kills. Not be past stunned under tower, so Creative Content is able to take one back, but a huge win for Craigslea.
Again, they're playing around the bot lane. How are you not going to say you've got to lead in the top lane? You're doing conditioning with this cannon, getting the cannon ahead, and the cannon will carry you through these games. And they're just not doing it. They come to this bot lane time and time again. Content's behind in the mid lane. ZaHo's taking over. Just snowballing this bot lane and just not happening, and then just falling further and further behind. Side of Northside and Crazy are taking over this game.
Content is just cheating death right now. He got clipped by a couple of abilities there. No trigger was pulled just yet by Craigslea, who unfortunately, where they are in the map right now, they can't really commit to any objectives at the moment. They're going to have to reset. What I would have liked to see out of Northside is actually a cheeky Rift Herald rush.
Yeah,
I feel like they could have gotten away with it there.
They need to play their top side. They should just give up bot and play towards top side. That's how you're going to win this game. Especially when the Baron spawns, the most important objective in the game is top side. So why are you trying to play to get your bot lane ahead when they're already doing decently with 2v2? Just ping the mid lane and mid lane. Keep TF in that lane, getting pushed down, use ultimate top every now and again. It's just so easy to play the game.
Now, when you say ping the mid laner missing, I'm assuming it's ZaHo on those roams and not because Creative Content is struggling. That said, though, yellow card is actually going to hit onto ZaHo right now. LoLQHS has roamed down, and that is the chain CC that we wanted to see earlier in this game. Easy pickup for Northside.
And that's why Assassins, aren't great into this comp. You need to get this chain CC down. And, unfortunately, KillerDownUnder just hasn't had enough CC in the mid lane. Creative Content as well. They're missing some of those stun cards and those all-ins, and you can see
they got another one. Pulungiiboi alone in the river. That's not where you want to be. And actually, it looks like Northside wants more. LoLQHS trying to chase down Lemester. He just got that shutdown gold as well from taking down ZaHo. So Kennen will start to get bigger and bigger. They have control around the Dragon Pit, and actually, they're going to get this Ocean Drink.
I still think they should be playing top side. It's good to get a pick in the mid lane. They need to get this mid lane tower down as soon as possible. Allow them to try to take over this Baron bridging because they've got the top lane tower down as well. But I think it's definitely big having this cannon doing a lot of damage. And Creative Content finally finishes Luden as well, does actually do a fair bit on this, yeah.
That he does. Mid tower being seized right now. All members of Northside are there. They definitely like grouping up, although this time I think their team composition can handle it a bit more than what we saw in game 2.
I think they need to, in these team fights, they need to make sure they land the gold card on the Katarina and follow it with a nice cannon ultimate and let the MF kind of get an ultimate. They need to kill ZaHo first and then the Taliyah. Those are two big threats. I don't think Mordekaiser is doing too much at the moment. He's a little bit too far behind, and I think he's kited out effectively by everyone stepping to them.
The only thing I am worried about, though, is Northside's window of opportunity. Because, yes, I do agree, they got to take down ZaHo first. But that just means more time for Pulungiiboi on this Caitlyn to get auto-zone. And once Caitlyn gets to 3 items, having that focus on anyone other than Caitlyn means Caitlyn is going to win the team fight.
I mean, Caitlyn is notoriously for having a poor mid game, right?
Yes.
So she's not going to be as strong in these fights once you get a couple of items onto each of your carries. I think TF needs Zhonya's much or more urgently than it looks like this Luden's, not Luden's, the Lichbane he's building towards.
Yes.
I think he needs to get this. TF's job in this scenario now, he's not a key carry, right? The damage is coming out of the MF, the damage is coming out of the cannon. This is a really nice bait here.
That's push, little kittens. Ooh, it's on the vision. Here we go. Here comes the engage. The lure catches themselves a kitten. An easy pickup for Craigslea.
Unfortunately, Kitten was unable to zone use their fast one. That's a great pickup by Craigslea. It's a really good macro from them, baiting her in the Baron. You should know that they're on the map. Obviously, you see the top lane pushed in that deep, and no one's going to collect that wave. You know they're hiding around this big objective. This is really huge for Craigslea. It should be a
I'm actually surprised they didn't turn and try to start the Baron right there. Instead, they're opting to siege at the moment. And with this damage being thrown down on the Pulungiiboi, it actually might mean the end to Craigslee's push.
Yeah, Craigslea gonna have to back off here. Pulungiiboi solo, still very squishy. I said, gets Caitlyn in the mid game, but before she gets some lifesteal, she's very easy to take down and kill.
You see around this area again, baiting here outside Craigslea.
This time though, 2 members are sent up, which means the lure is not quite as enticing for Craigslea to jump upon. They will be content to get that Scuttlebug around the Baron and back off. Someone this game who I've actually been impressed with, but we haven't really been talking about that much, has been KillerDownUnder on the ZinZao. I feel he has actually done quite a good job in sort of being in the right place at the right time for his team and sort of turning things around.
I still don't think KillerDownUnder has done as much as I think my expectations for him were a little bit too high coming into this series. I thought he was going to be someone who could really take over the game for Northside and really kind of push this mid-jungle advantage. I do think that the ZinZao, obviously he's been doing alright, 3-1-3, not too bad. I just had a couple of mistakes like buying a team out on ZinZao. You do AoE damage with your W and your E, you don't really need the extra AoE clearer for either of the Raptor or the Krogs camps. So I think that's a little bit of a delay in his power spike, because you just want to get to your warriors as soon as possible. I think he just hasn't done enough in the early game, which is what you picked the ZinZao for, to put the Katarina or the Mordekaiser behind to justify going for ZinZao over a more scaling pick like his effective Karthus or his Taliyah he played in the first game. I think those picks, given how he's played this game, would be much more effective on him than the ZinZao.
Something else I want to point out right now, we are at such a close game once again, game 3, similarities to game 2 in terms of gold score. These have been some of the most exciting games actually in this best of 3 that we've seen throughout the season. Like throughout the season, there were the odd close games, a lot of them were a bit more one-sided. The fact that we're hitting playoffs and like this is a 4th versus 12 season is actually going to it's a flash red card. That's not what you want. Creative content pulling the Reginald. Bit unlucky.
Yeah, that's a bit of a Reggie play there for creative content. Again, pulling the wrong card. I think it's the 3rd time he's pulled a red instead of a stun card this game, and again, that allows ZaHo to go. It's a big cooldown burnt on the TF as well. That's ultimate down, that's flash down, and obviously the gold card as well.
It was 2 flashes actually, as SirZelli tried to follow a flash as well.
Yeah, the binding and just missing that is such a huge critical corner, especially for someone who's a platform player. These mistakes you just should not be making, and unfortunately, for Northside, not unable to execute on that pick, but Craigslea once again staying alive. Full team comp now. This TF's going to be very careful to watch out for a Vi engage.
Reggie was a blue card, wasn't it?
It was good.
It was a blue, it wasn't a red. All I knew was the wrong card. It's the fact,
I mean, a blue card would have been better than a red card because it does more damage, right?
And like, also just the fact that flash was burned after the card was locked in.
Yeah.
That was what struck me the most about that play. Just unfortunate. I think nerves are really starting to get to Northside right now. Understanding that, like, okay, we might be the better team in paper.
It's a bit of an issue. I think you should run straight to Baron here. You can see they're starting off this team, run straight to Baron. Clouddrake's worth giving
Look where the team's going. They're going for Baron.
Nice. I mean, they are going to be sitted out by Crazy. They're going to back off and come for a roam. Which they should know about, which is perfect for them to set up a bait with the pick from the wall binding and the.
I mean, it's good vision from Craigslea as well to be aware, like, hey, this is what they're doing right now. SirZelli, you don't have sweeper available. Actually, SirZelli doesn't even have sweeper yet.
Oh, that's a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, that's late into game to not have sweeper on.
I mean, ZinZao should have a sweeper level 1 as well.
Yep.
Like generally, what you do as a jungle is you get your ward down. You back your sweeper and you spike your buff. That's like the traditional pathing you do for any competitive.
No sweeper and no control wards on anyone on Northside. Any vision that Craigslea places right now is essentially just going through uncontested.
Especially since the Baron's up as well. Huge objective in this game. It's a big error here from Northside. The coach will not be too happy with them.
No, those are the kind of mistakes that actually will cost you later in the game. This is how crucial vision is. As a result, they had the right situation to possibly make that Baron play, but because they couldn't clear the wards Craigslea reacts to the Baron push. Then they rotate right back to the Dragon as soon as Northside is scared away. They know every move Northside is making, and they secure themselves a closet.
Yeah, and that's really effective here by Craigslea. By Craigslea, sorry, controlling this vision, because vision is so important in this game. That's why the Koreans threw Dynasty off it. Rotations, all built off of vision.
I mean, they sort of forced Northside to make poor rotations right there. The Dragon is the reward. And right now, what is next? Well, they're going to keep trying to get deep vision. I expect they're going to start looking more towards the top half of the map. That Baron, but a Dark Binder connecting onto TheVlaxten might actually prompt a fight. Nope, LoLQHS able to walk away safely.
I mean, his Morgana is kind of strong enough that you can't really one-shot him, right? The Rylai's is slow enough that he can kind of survive for a little bit. They've also got the Spirit Disciple, who's going to be doing a lot of healing. Which is with the Conqueror rune and obviously his W as well. So that's pretty big for the Mordekaiser. I mean, obviously he's going to finish the Spirit Disciple before that comes into play. It's going to be very, very strong.
Good connection off the binding right now. I mean, once again, now we're seeing Craigslea group S5. That does leave him susceptible to the split push. So watching that minimap, I did see creative content was able to push down that bot tower. He does have his ultimate available, does not, which is being used at the moment actually to try and regroup. But as that bot tower falls, you know, look at this roam up for Craigslea. They're starting that Baron. I imagine this is actually going to lead to a fight.
Yeah, it looks like it. This is very good for a Katarina fight as well, but make sure that everything this TF to pull the right card. That's all that needs to happen. Sweepers on, still not on the Morgana, sorry.
But it is on Killer. Still does have the sweeper, but
a little steal around the, that's huge there. The Scuttlebug vision going to be telling him exactly when Craigsley's going to be starting up his bag for the next 60 seconds.
It does. I'm actually surprised Craigsley isn't trying to force a fight a bit more right now. I feel like they have a better situation to do it in the hard side.
I think they need to wait for a good rotation as well from Northside to be able to pick up a free turret there, and a little bit out of rotation for Craigsley. But I think the biggest thing they're worried about is ZaHo cannot start a fight. They don't really have any good tools besides the Vi to actually start a fight. And if the Vi goes in, you know, and it's only getting used by one form of CC, then when Katarina goes, it's going to be locked down by this stun card, which is very low foot on here from the TF. Two towers picked up from Northside.
Yeah, good rotational play from Northside, able to get 2 towers after, you know, coming up a bit on top of that Baron dance. All of that was taken from the, you know, that cheeky little smite steal from KillerDownUnder. It really scared Craigsley away, and just the snap decision making out of Northside to get those 2 towers extends their goal lead to about 4K as well. This is Northside acting much more proactively than what we saw out of the first 25 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of them is stepping up and actually trying to take the game to Craigsley. This Katarina hasn't started snowballing as effectively, and they're not getting her the fight she needs to kind of extend the league. Still no trinket on the Morgana, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think what they need to do is, I think Mordecai needs to ult the TF, or the Morgana, and the other Vi needs to ult the other, whichever they don't ult, and get this Katarina in and get them to instantly assassinate Rockstar, and maybe even KillerDownUnder or ThelilKitten. Because at the moment, the Katarina, I think ZaHo wants to go in, but Sapnu Puas, and TheVlaxten aren't actually able to, they are the ones who have to initiate a fight. Even though Mordecai's not that good at it, you have only Vi as initiation, and unfortunately that's not as effective enough to actually start pushing your lead, because Katarina can't just dive enough quickly.
Yeah.
So I think what Northside are doing is really smart. They know that they, you know, that start has to be fighted by Craigsley, by them, but Craigsley is going to counter engage, because that's what they've got. The Taric is hard counter engage with the ultimate. They've got the Mordekaiser, which is really good counter engage with his ultimate as well.
Oh, flash yellow card does connect this time around. Pulungiiboi is the target, has to flash defensively. Big ultimate coming out of blocker, doing so much damage, but the Taric will stop that. Here comes Katarina to the backline. All it does though is proc that Zonya's passive. Nothing pass will go down to a double for ThelilKitten, but it does not matter because the team is just getting run over. Craigsley doing so much work. A huge double out of Pulungiiboi wins the fight.
And that's why Mordekaiser is so huge in these fights, able to ult the MF, get her stats, and ultimately win the fight. Unfortunately, that Katarina was able to get in the back on that huge Taric ultimate. You got a huge 5-man stun out of the Celestine Maelstrom from the cannon, which was huge from ThelilKitten. But unfortunately, the Taric ultimate came down, which I said, good counter engage, right? Northside cannot engage these fights because they will just simply outpush and outroam with this TF. They need to wait, sit back, get your advantages through these side lanes, and not engage any fights because there's so much good counter engagement inside of the Craigsley. There was another instance of Creative Finance flashed in with a gold card, the right card, thankfully this time, but they weren't able to kill down, it wasn't on the same page as his team. He had no follow-up. He went in flashed, the rest of the team was still standing too far behind, and they couldn't get in and take out that fight. And they went and burned their ultimates afterwards. The Taric ultimate came down, blocked all the damage from the MF, saved 4 members from dying to the slicing Maelstrom stun. And that's, you know, precisely what you don't want as Northside when you're using these big attacks.
And the prize for winning that fight is a couple towers and a Cloud Drake to boot. Something I want to point out though, looking at Summoner across the map, it has a jungler use Flash, but aside from that, ZaHo actually still has Flash and Ignite available. So if another fight were to happen right now, Craigslea has that advantage. Every single other Flash on Northside was used in that fight. So bot lane, Summoner list for both teams, but mid lane Summoner list as well for Northside, and that is a huge advantage.
ZaHo, fortunately enough, was, you know, in these fights, he got such a quick on the ability. He had permanent resets on that Shampoo. He's able to dash around these fights almost infinitely without having to burn flash.
Also, Pulungiiboi was just able to sit back and throw down those autos throughout the entirety of that as well. Now has paid the QSS tax, so lesson learned from that flash yellow card coming out of creative content. Not going to be able to get away with it again.
Also, QSS is the MF, so she's not going to be stolen off by the Where's the modifier?
No, remember. Oh my God, ZaHo. How did you wind up there? Here comes the follow-up from Creative Content. The yellow card does get the stun, but it's onto the Taric instead. This is huge for Craigslea too. They might take this game. ZaHo still super deep. Actually, I'm sorry, that is Superpass who is in way too deep. Gets stunned and brought down. On the other side as well, Lemester as well as Pulungiiboi are able to take KillerDownUnder. Huge snipe out of Creative Content. Takes down Sapnu Pass, and a dark binding is not enough to stop Pulungiiboi from starting to run rampant Creative Content in way too deep. TheVlaxten will be able to get that kill. That was the ultimate out of TheVlaxten right there to help secure that one. And with that, SirZelli, last man left standing, has to make the walk of shame past the exposed inhibitor, which will surely go down.
I mean, this could even be the game here. There's Caitlyn and this Mortar so fed, right? But there's not going to be much this Caitlyn can do.
SirZelli is pulled in, and that could be the ace that does it. Inhibitor will go down, but Walkster is up in 2 seconds. Might have support from KillerDownUnder as well. Craigslea, recognizing this, will back away for now. I expect them to start moving towards that Baron.
I think they're going for that end game there, actually. But, you know, obviously going to back off, get the Baron, reset, push down one of the side lanes and take out this game. That's exactly what you want to see. That was a perfect team fight for Northside to win, but they just didn't execute correctly. They dive into the backline way too quickly, and this Caitlyn's able to get so much damage off, right? That's exactly what you wanted. ZaHo got a little bit excited, landing on the TF, got stunned up immediately, ultimate cancelled. As long as he's down for him, it should be up before this next team fight goes. So we were able to, you know, sustain through that little initial burst, and they come in and use our burn to dive into the backline to track where the Caitlyn got blocked off from the rest of the team, and the Taric ultimately game from Lemester is winning these team fights over and over again, keeping everyone invulnerable, everyone alive, and then Maokai, who's a late game beast, with Spirit besides being unable to kill and doing so much damage. It just means it's harder and harder for Craigslea to do anything. I mean, sorry, for Northside to do anything in these team fights.
And now we're in a situation where Craigslea has Baron, has a gold lead for the first time this entire game.
Well,
has
that
that
series pretty much.
Yeah.
Even the games they won, they were behind until the very end because of the Klepto and the huge CS leads they had across the board.
And with an exposed inhibitor as well, all eyes might be on this next Elder Dragon that will be coming through. It'll be the first Elder Dragon we actually see tonight. This has already been the longest game, and Creative Content is caught out in no man's land. An easy kill picked up for Pulungiiboi, a man down. I expect Craigslea to really start putting the pressure on.
That's the ultimate burn on the TF as well. Once again, getting caught out for his team, and that could be absolutely crucial as well with these super minions going in. The Baron on all these members. This could be the end of the game here for Craigslea. The TheVlaxten all the way on the top side of the map. If they just group up as 5, push down mid lane, it could almost be the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, who has to step up right now for the Northside? Who are you looking to make that miracle play? For myself, my eyes are still going to be on the LoLQHS. I think when you look at just the amount of CC that LoLQHS can put out, he needs to come up big.
I think they're taking this Taric. This Taric is going to be that big invulnerability. There's just so many strong threats. Obviously, the Caitlyn's going to be one-autoing everybody. The Katarina's going to be one-shotting these low-health carries. You know, it's very difficult for Northside to really choose a target to focus down because they have so many threats on the side of Craigsley. Through these early game leads that ZaHo was able to snowball in the bottom lane.
Yeah, ZaHo definitely making that Katarina pick worth its while.
The top laner as well.
TheVlaxten's just not going to die.
That's it. He's just, I'm going to be perma healing.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a big health sponge, kind of like older Mundo. Being able to play happening on the top side of the map. That was a Twisted Fatal to the yellow card. They're trying to pick out the TheVlaxten, who will drop the ult on the Creative Content run away. But Craigsley's like, sweet, let's end this game. ZaHo already gets 2 kills, a double that might bring this one to an end. Yes, TheVlaxten might go down, but the base is where the focus should be as these next towers are starting to fall. The first one's gone. The recall might not be in time. ZaHo trying to do what he can. Here comes the miracle play. The ultimate gets dropped by the little kid from the slicing. Yasuo does not have the damage. Hourglass will buy some time, but forces out a flash. KillerDownUnder responds as well. ZaHo's low, as well as Sapnu. Sapnu with the target. The flash from the buy will keep him alive. Super minions purging into the base. The flash forward by Pulungiiboi, as well as the ace in the hole, will be blocked by Creative Content, but the second Nexus Tower falls. Creative Content with the yellow card trying to buy time, but still falls to the hands of Pulungiiboi. Nothing LoLQHS can do. Craigslea goes to the quarterfinals.
And Craigslea taking an impressive 2-1 series winning against Northside, going back and forth the whole time. And now ace comes in at the end of the game, and that's it. Craigslea will be advancing into the quarterfinals. What an exciting best-of-3 series between these two sides.
That best-of-3 series was absolutely amazing. We got to see pretty much a lot of what you want from a best-of-3.
Exactly.
Like, we saw adaptation, we saw players stepping up and coming up huge. We get to see people on comfort picks as well as maybe not so comfort picks have their moments. That was so much fun, man.
It was so impressive, especially the Katarina from the last game obviously warranted the bans. I still think Creative Content in that game made a lot of crucial mistakes that you just really shouldn't be making, especially in a high-pressure environment. Obviously, the pressure's getting to him a little bit in these best of 3 games, and unfortunately for him and his side, that means they did go down in this series. But I still think everyone in that series played extremely well. Like, you look at both sides, you look at both rosters, and you go, man, everyone had a standout performance or a standout game, at least, if not more than one, right?
Or stand-up moment at some point in the series. Like, even creative content, who we might have been a little harsher on during that last game.
I mean, his
Remember
Yasuo
his
game.
first game?
Yeah, his Yasuo game was absolutely tearing up. And obviously, his Yasuo one trick, so that's what you kind of expect when you're not in that comfort picks. And yeah, what an amazing series. All 3 games extremely exciting. May have been a little bit one-sided, a couple of comeback team fights from the other team. And overall, it could have gone either way the entire time. And,
it definitely
could. Thankfully, well, not thankfully, but in the end, we've ended up with a great best of 3 series, all 3 games, which I think everyone's happy with. And I think both of these teams look very, very strong. And
I'm shaking, like the excitement getting to me. I'm just dropping things.
And yeah, Craigslea look in a very strong position to move forward. And if I'm SPS Legacy, I'm very, very scared of either of these 2 sides in this next
Definitely.
game.
Well, I mean, they got to be more scared, I think, of Craigslea than Northside, because Northside, unfortunately, with that loss, have been eliminated. That said, we have some replays for you from our exciting Game 3, taking us through that. I wonder which one's first.
I think it'll probably be, there's a lot of team fights.
There was a lot in that one.
A lot of team fights. I mean, I definitely want to highlight, I think we do, obviously, these replays. This is the first fight here on the bot side. I think this is when ZaHo was able to pop off and do a lot of fights. This Taric Ultimates ball game from Lemester were really crucial. And I think he was definitely my player of the game as well. I think the Taric Ultimates will run it for him, even though, you might want to look towards the Katarina, which got really huge in the early game, or the Caitlyn was just one-shotting everybody at the end of the mid-game and the...
But who enabled them?
Exactly. It was... I mean, you can either go with ZaHo running down, or it was the Taric ultimates every time that stopped these big wombo combo ultimates coming out of Northside, sorry, and I think Lemester played really well, and you can highlight it. And pretty much every one of these plays, you're going to see every team fight. It's going to be a perfectly timed Taric ultimate that's going to delay either an MF ult or a cannon ult, and going to win the team fight for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect use of wombo stoppage coming out of Lemester, who I do agree was probably the player of the game for that Game 3, but if I were to choose like a player of the series, I'm still looking at ZaHo.
It has to be ZaHo. Game 1 was by far the best performer on the Orianna. Game 2, Lux hard carried that game as well. And then Game 3, the Katarina was able to snowball that bottom lane, which was actually, like, they lost both side lanes that game. But the Katarina was able to roam around, pick up kills, drag that Northside's attention to the bot lane, and then keep snowballing that lead through there, which completely eliminated LittleKitten up in the top side, who I think was close second for player of the series.
So we take a look right here. This was when Craigslea 2 started to look like they were bringing the game back a bit. They got a couple of good picks.
Yeah, onto both ZaHo and Pulungiiboi there in the bot lane. This is when the TF kind of started ramping up a little bit.
It was. I'm a little surprised by that replay there. I'm not sure that was what was intended. Fortunately, we're not seeing the replay of the ultimate flash red card. I mean, but something I want to give ZaHo credit for, because we were giving him a hard time about that. That was the last card he missed. After that, it was all yellow cards for the rest of the game.
Creative content, definitely nailed those cards off the point. This is the big team fight here. This is where we thought that Northside had come through and won it here. You see on the backside of the team fight, just the Pulungiiboi, the Caitlyn, positioned off to the side. They just got so many free autos down. A huge ultimate out of the Katarina as well, and then Mordekaiser ulting on the MF means he was not going anywhere. And that was, this was the biggest. This is the point where you look at this team fight and you go, damn, I don't know what Northside can do to really, turn around these fights, because Craigslea have so many tools to enable their AD carry to carry, and they have so many carry threats through the Mordekaiser, the MF, the Katarina, and the Taric, of course.
Someone who we weren't talking about in that team fight as well, I was watching that time around, was Sapnu Puas.
Yeah.
He did such a good job of drawing attention onto himself and not onto Pulungiiboi on that Caitlyn in that. And he was disrupting. There were knockups going down. Like the assault and battery actually, I think, hit like 2 or 3 people in that team fight. So everyone on Craigslea was just stepping up huge in that last game. And that's when you need it most, right? Exactly, as I believe we have our last team fight, should be our last replay. Yes, it was ZaHo. A bit too deep, things looking good for Craigslea, but another clutch ultimate out of Lemester, as well as, the bullet timer being stopped by Walkstar before it even started for a good use of assault and battery. And Northside kind of just take this fight, especially when TheVlaxten makes his appearance known.
Yeah, I mean, especially,
that was an interesting...
Yeah, the Zonya's blocking it, so the LittleKitten went down, and then the ultimate came out of TheVlaxten, and it was pretty much just game over from here, right? Obviously, they got the Baron off this, they got to recall, snowball, one more team fight, and then obviously end the game when they went for that pick on the Mordekaiser on the top side.
That was such a troll moment out of creative content right there.
I mean, there's a couple to choose from in this last game. A lot of flash red cards.
Well, the flash red card, but like that, he could have saved his AD carry's life.
Or his top laner's life, but unfortunately, I mean, I think he might have been Zonya's. He maybe thought the Mordekai's ult was coming out.
Yeah, he must have thought that was going
to. You can Zonya's the Mordekai's ult if you time it perfectly. But you have to do like a little Captain Jack prediction kind of.
So that must have been what he was going for right there. But instead, all it looks like, it's like, I'll block the ace in the hole for you. Haha, nope, snipe.
That's the classic. You see those League of Fails things. Like,
exactly.
Just the Zonya's and the ult just comes past and it's like,
hey, it's good to know that they're probably having fun then, given the situation. In the heat of the battle, do or
Still
die.
enough time to have a bit of a meme.
Still enough time to have a bit of a meme and have a chuckle. On that note, though, it is time for us, I believe, to say goodnight. It has been a blast doing this best of three. And we have quarterfinals coming at you next week.
Yeah, we should be a little bit, again, today we actually started the stream a little bit early. I think we are starting again at that 4 p.m. start time for the quarterfinals. We'll see who will be coming live here to UQ to play in our finals day on July 20th. So make sure you guys
get tickets to that.
Yeah, get tickets to that because it's going to be a huge, big whole day of games, big event. Lots of casting. Lots of games. It's going to be a lot of fun for everyone involved. So make sure you guys get your tickets to that.
Yeah, come check out UQ.
Definitely come check out UQ. Check out the esports facility as well. If you're, don't want to come to all the games, there's a big gaming cafe that we have here on campus that's equipped with the best equipment.
Yeah, it's really sick.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll probably be like little tours of this little studio as well if you get in early enough and ask nicely enough. Don't hold me to that one. I haven't gotten the official okay on that.
Don't hold Max to that at all.
But no, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. July 20th, it's going to be a full day of High School League of Legends where we're going to find out who our Queensland State representative is going to be competing for that chance to go down to MEO for the high school final.
Yeah.
Big thank you to the University of Queensland. Big thank you to our teams, and big thank you for our viewers at home for watching us today. I have been Maximilian Thor von Neumann, formal casting. Follow me on Twitter. You can see that handle right there. Or hey, follow OCE Replays as well from Mitch Replays Anderson.
Yeah, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next Tuesday for a fantastic quarterfinal matchup. Good night.